Hail and well met, adventurers. I'm Kevin, and I will be your guest game master tonight on Monday Night Mayhem. Right there it is. Yes, I am Kevin. I am found online at KevranGames, and I am also the host of the Game Night Heroes podcast, an audio podcast where we play cool games like this. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I think this is going to be a huge blast. I've got 4 amazing players that I am super thrilled to work with. Some of them again, and one of them for the first time ever, which will be oh so fun. So thank you all for tuning in. I want to take a moment before we dive into this tale, the likes of which has never been told, of 4 legends who are brave, true, dangerous, and bold, to introduce these 4 players who are going to help us tell an amazing tale tonight. So let's round them all up. You see them on your screen already. I'm going to start off first, ladies first, because we're being gentlemanly in our ancient fairy tale land that we're diving into tonight. So let's say hello to Beth, who has been in Superior Adventures Guild adventures before. So hello, Beth. Thank you. Welcome.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting. Yeah, as you said, I'm Beth, and I've been very lucky to do a few Monday Night Mayhems. So I'm very excited for this because I know, a short shot is always a blast. But yeah, you can find me on various social media platforms. But specifically, if you go to my link tree, it's just my name, Beth Masco. You can find the other Monday Night Mayhem streams I've been in, some other fun stuff, and then all my social media things. So glad to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much. Moving right on, let's move to someone who I am happy to work with for the first time tonight, but I know she is also not a stranger on Superior Adventurers Guild. Rachel, hello.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be back. Well, I am, tonight I'm playing a character named Goldie. My name's Rachel. My screen name is Aria Galaxy. You might see me in the chat tonight. And I'm super excited to be streaming. I don't do this professionally or often, but feel free to follow me on social media anytime for random musings and cat photos. But I'm just super excited to play again in another Monday Night Mayhem. So thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's move right along to my good friend. Hello, Javante. How are you tonight, sir? Welcome to Superior Adventurers Guild.
It's so awesome to be here. Hi, everyone. My name's Javante. I keep getting invited to do actual plays, which is awesome. And I'm finally getting to be able to do a Monday Night Mayhem, which is great. If you want to see more of the crazy shenanigans I get myself into on a daily basis, you can find me over at my Twitter at Javante, where I am mostly discussing tabletop RPGs and wrestling for the foreseeable future. Can't wait to get diving into this. I'm so excited.
Awesome. I'm so happy to have you here, my friend. We've done some few things before, and this is going to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you in action tonight. So thank you. And finally, let's talk with my very good friend who we work together in a capacity like this on another show. So David, hi, welcome. Here we are.
Well, hi, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here tonight on Monday Night Mayhem, especially here for Once Upon a Rhyme. Yeah, I am David. I am from Murder Hobo Incorporated, the YouTube channel. Kevin's also a cast member on that great stream as well. I also work with him on Game Night Heroes. I've been in a couple of his podcasts, and we have a couple of other projects that are coming up as well. Tonight, I will be playing the Piper. Yes, he's a mysterious minstrel, and yeah, we'll just find out his nature. It's going to be something chaotic, I'm sure. So, or not. We'll have to see. But anyway, I'm David. You can find me in the Twitterverse at D&Devious under Devious Games. It's mostly, TT RPG news, news about the different podcasts and streams that I appear on, and plus a lot of my followers. It's mostly a promotional thing, but there's a lot of good info there. So it's a good source to find new streams. So that's it. That's me. I'm Dave, the Piper.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And this is it. These are our 4 players who are going to inhabit these 4 legends of fairy tale lore as we dive into Once Upon a Rhyme. This is going to be Act 1, Wolves at the Gate. So, once upon a time, in the distant, lost kingdom and continent of Histara was the ancient land of Alami. Alami was a broad and vast land where all races worked together in unity and in harmony to ensure that they all were able to forgo any challenges that the land might offer. But ancient grudge and jealousy gives way to war inevitably in all scenarios. And in this land, it would be eventually that the human kingdoms would go to war with the elven kingdoms to the north. The war was long and vicious, and at the outskirt of said war, the elves felt the need to further separate themselves from the races to the south and created the Hedge, a nearly 1,000-foot-long mystical forest of dark, treacherous magic. The Hedge has separated these 2 lands for nearly 3 centuries, and in this time, the elves have been silent. No one knows what they are doing or what they are about. The 7 kingdoms to the south, now ruled over by the main capital city of Loram, Maine, is once again embroiled in a nice, beautiful summer activity, as these things tend to do. Our tale tonight will begin specifically in Loram, Maine, when we will have the paths and strands of destiny bring 4 heroes together to weave a tale that will shape both lands to the south and north of the Hedge. So, the capital city of Loram, Maine today is bright, it's sunny, it's welcoming. There are lots of people around. The city is very large. It's a metropolis of this world, and therefore all different races and creeds are seen here. But no one has seen an elf, as I mentioned, in nearly 300 years. So there is a bit of stigma and suspicion around them if tales are told. On this specific day, we see that just on the outskirts of the city proper, a large caravan train emerges. And in this train of caravan and different carriages, brightly colored, the markings on the side of them seem to glow and sparkle with the morning sun. They are marked as the Witchlight Carnival. And specifically, there is an individual who trails to the back of said carnival, making his way along. He seems to be somewhat lost in his own thoughts. Distant memories plague him as well as lead him on his path. In this specific moment, if we could, David, tell us, what exactly do we see when we first see the Piper as he arrives with the Witchlight Carnival? And what does he look like? And what is he thinking in this moment?
Sure. Well, for first, you see, as Kevin described, kind of statuesque, kind of male figure, long dark hair, kind of well-groomed mustache, little soul patch to match, face done in Harlequin style makeup, both as to be festive, but also kind of disguise some of his, I want to say, not human features. He is dressed in party type clothing, usually in black and whites with a little hint of red or color throughout some part of his ensemble. As he makes his way from the train, from the carnival, one of the most notable features that he has is this long silvered flute that he has holstered towards his back. So that is the appearance of what you see with the Piper.
Absolutely. The Witchlight Carnival is led into the town, welcomed even, as this sort of time of the year is welcoming to traveling minstrels and caravans of all sorts. And as the Witchlight Carnival traverses within, Something off to the side you notice that strikes you as a little bit odd is you notice that there is what appears to be a perhaps human child, preteen, maybe about 12 years old, with long, somewhat unkempt blonde hair. And this figure seems to be sitting in amongst some other rather shady or sketchy looking individuals. They're playing dice of some sort. And this specific individual you notice is drinking a stein of alcohol right along these others. And as the Witchlight Carnival passes by, you get a brief glimpse of this individual. Rachel, what do we notice as the Piper notices of Goldie when we first see her? And what exactly is she doing with this rough crowd?
You see Goldie. She is a young halfling woman. She has golden curly hair and big green eyes, but it looks like Goldie has not showered in a very, very long time. She put on makeup some days ago, and it is now smeared across her face after multiple nights out and gambling and drinking. You see she's got her head down, really focused in the game of dice that she's playing with this group, almost with like a laser-like focus and an extreme competitiveness. That she doesn't even notice a carnival going by because she's so focused on winning. She's covered in a few layers of dust, a big leather jacket, and usually scowling more often than she's smiling.
Excellent, excellent. And our attention moves past her and further into the city. We actually move past several different carts and stands of different merchants selling their wares. We go further down the road to where there is actually of all things, bizarrely fashioned here in a fantasy realm, a train station. Long tracks of railways lead out of the city and different spines in several different directions, almost like some sort of strange compass rose that points into the different directions that the train line runs. The train line that was forged on the brow and sweat, blood, and tears of the slave labor that built it. Specifically in this train station, we find an individual who is large, wide-shouldered. He's getting ready to scoop some coal into an oven of some sort. And as he turns, he sees a figure even larger than him. This figure that we see, this second one, is really tall and imposing with a rather interesting looking hammer hanging over his shoulder. Javante, what do we notice stands out the most about John Henry when he makes his appearance here?
So outside of the imposing height of John Henry, coupled with just the size, the slight sheen that dots his skin of this myriad of golds and almost sparkling light that seems just peppered into his skin that matches the strange similar glow along the train tracks. And it's very heavily prevalent on the hammer that he holds as well. John Henry is, as you said, a tall, very imposing looking figure, which is quickly diminished by the wide smile that he has and this almost jovial nature that he seems to put out, which almost fully ruins the intimidating nature that he attempts to put on as he turns to look at the train track itself with this almost glint of pride at what's been accomplished. His full focus just on where it leads, less so of where it stands.
Absolutely. I love it. You notice the Witchlight Carnival move past and further into the town. You see that they start setting up different stands right off of the side of the carnival carriages themselves. They look like they're setting up a perimeter to perform pretty much right here in the center of this section of the city. What all three of you do not see, however, is a fourth player in our tale for the next bit of time who seems to almost ethereally appear at the edge of the city lines. She is alone, and she steps out of thin air, it would seem, and begins her trek in towards the center of the city. Something else has called her here. And Beth, if you could, what do we see that the players, do not when Mare enters into Loram, Maine?
So with Mare, you see she is a fairly tall woman wearing very fine clothing. Nothing too, gaudy or ornate, but it's very clean lines. It looks like a uniform, but she wears a nice blue, and currently she has just pulled her hood over her head to cover her elven ears. Her posture is always pretty decent, but it's especially rigid as she endeavors into the human world. But she has dark, wavy hair, light eyes, and she has a small pack on her back, and that appears to be all that she is currently carrying. So she'll make her way as discreetly as possible into the city.
Absolutely. And Mare, as you make your way into the city, your calling, the reason why you've been brought here, you can feel is leading you in the direction of the large, imposing, and regal-looking castle in the center of the town proper. It's up on a large plateau that is in the center of the town that raises it above the rest of the landscape. And for some reason, you know that is the place to go. Now, you've done a little bit of research before you came to the human land here. So if you could, first roll of the game, go ahead and give me a intelligence history check, please.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. Intelligence history. That is a 17.
Beautiful start. I love it. In your research, you know that this kingdom of Loram, Maine is the centralized city of Alamein, as I mentioned, and specifically it is ruled over by Queen Brunhild III. She is a wise and just ruler who is young for her age, especially by human standards for rulers. But you know that she is a bit stern in her countenance, and she doesn't really brook much way of shenanigans. But you know that this would be the seat of her power, so it, in its own way, is a dangerous place for you to be. Knowing that, how do you think that would interfere with your calling and what your purpose is, typically, as one of the godmothers?
Well, I think that though there is a very specific set of guidelines placed upon godmothers, I think there's also a lot of trust in the matron who the godmothers follow as a goddess, and if she is being compelled to come to this place and perhaps to speak to the queen or whomever, she'll do it. She'll do whatever she needs to do. But there is a little bit of hesitation, upon trying to meet this ruler.
Definitely. Let's have each of you, please, roll a d20 for me. Just straight, no modifiers. I just want to check something out of curiosity.
I just got a natural 1. So
Oh,
glad I got that out of the way.
Got it out of the way.
First roll, starting out strong.
yes.
Nice.
At least it's just for this. Thank you. How about you, Piper? What did you get?
I got a glaring 5.
Beautiful. And John, what did you get?
14.
14. And finally, Mare?
I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. John, as you're sitting there, you're getting ready to do your various tasks for the day. There is, you notice, a retinue of guards of the High City Guard that approach you from behind. As they do, you see that one of them he's a wide-shouldered guy, younger, and he has a pretty noticeable long cloak that is that burgundy color that marks a lot of the guardsmen here. As he approaches you, he says, "Are you John Henry?"
That do be my Monica. How can I help you?
"You are summoned to the Queen's chambers. There was a special task that has been called of you." And he actually reaches in underneath that cloak and he pulls out a rolled up piece of parchment.
You'll gladly accept that, unroll it pretty quickly just to make sure that this is genuine.
Sure, absolutely. From where you're somewhat nearby, Goldie, you notice these men approach this large guy. You're a little bit curious as to what's going on. I would say also from your proximity, Piper, as you are setting up your shop, you are about a block away from this. So a large configuration of guards that are approaching a single man, seemingly with a summons of some sort, kind of draws your attention as well. And they give you this paper. What do you wish to do with it, John?
As I unfurl to read it, I'll kind of look around just to see, like, am I the only one they're approaching, even from my area that I can see?
Sure. Let's see. Piper and or Goldie, are you trying to be stealthy by eavesdropping and looking to see what's going on, or are you actively gaping at what's going on with this guy?
Piper, to kind of drum up a little business for the carnival. He draws his flute and just starts casually playing just a nondescript tune, but he's keeping well aware of what's going on around him. He just doesn't want to appear to be eavesdropping, even though he is playing a tune. It's like soft, dulcet tones or whatever. He can still hear above it. So
okay, perfect. And how about you, Goldie?
Goldie is all stealth all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
No matter what, when given the option.
Very well. Goldie, let's have you make a stealth test, and let's have the Piper make either a performance or a what's the word for here? A
deception.
Deception. That's the word. I can't want to say diplomacy, but I knew that was wrong. Because you're not being diplomat.
So I got a 7.
A 7. Okay. And John, if you could roll a perception, we'll kind of see that. We'll use their DCs that they are rolling to determine.
It's a 14-day today.
Okay.
I'm not too far behind. 15 with the performance.
Okay. John, as you look around, you see that there is what looks to be a little girl who is off to the side. She's sitting with some rough and tumble type of guys. And you can see that although she's trying to be really surreptitious by rolling the dice and looking down, you notice that she looks up at your direction a little too many times. You notice there's also a minstrel, really kind of gaudily make-upped, you notice, who's off to the side. He's playing a flute. He doesn't seem to be paying any attention to you.
He's very trusting. He will look back to the paper and just, I'm gonna lose that accent. Which way then? Which way do I go then?
You can follow us and we will take you to the Queen. Unless you have important business that you think is more important than seeing Her Majesty.
Looks back at the job he was about to do. I reckon that can wait.
Very well. This way, please. And the other members of the guard, there's about 6 of them. They all surround and around you, not threateningly, just to give you an escort. And as you move past the carnival, you notice the man with the flute. He turns away as he continues to play. Again, just seems to be performing. There's a crowd that's starting to gather around him, starting to put some coins into a small little bucket that he has on the ground. The girl, however, you notice is still actively watching you. Do the two of you want to do anything as he leaves?
Well, I have a question. Does it seem from our perspective that he's got a royal invitation or that he's being arrested?
Oh, yeah. Okay. You can make an insight check. Either one of you can make an insight check if you'd like to kind of determine what's going on here.
Okay.
I got a 21.
Oh, okay.
Insight. I just rolled a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay. +2 for the modifier.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I got a nat 19, so we're rolling good on this.
I love it. I love it. Let's get the good rolls out of the way too. Yeah, you both noticed that. Yeah, they are taking this guy. Basically, this is an escort. They don't seem to be threatening him at all. He doesn't feel threatened or look threatened. He doesn't seem to have any problem with them. They're just leading him towards what you, Goldie, would know is the Capitol building, the main palace. And what you would see, Piper, and you look in the direction they're heading, is a large multi-storied castle with big spires in the center of the city itself. You are both so enraptured with John being escorted away that you do not notice a sleek woman move past the two of you as Mayor, you begin to make your way in towards the city proper. Is there anything that you wish to do in the city before you head there, or are you going straight to the castle?
I'm going directly to the castle. If I can go unseen for the most part, or at least, not recognized exactly, then that would be ideal. So I think she'll just sort of keep her head down, keep her cloak up, and just make her way to the castle.
Okay, perfect. And you do. Piper, as you're watching these men, you see that one of the guards, he actually stops and he looks at you for a moment as if he's studying you for a second. And then he just kind of turns and continues to walk with the others. Goldie, is there anything, what do you wish to do? You're seeing them all head off.
I want to cream these guys in this dice game. And then maybe follow, but I'd like to win my game first.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Let's go ahead. Let's make a wisdom check.
Okay.
Since you're using dice, do you have proficiency in dicing sets?
Do I have what? Sorry.
Do you have proficiency in dice sets as like a game proficiency?
Yes.
Okay. So you can use your proficiency bonus on this then.
Cool. Because I have a +0 to wisdom. So
awesome.
I will use my proficiency bonus. Okay, let's see. I only got an 8 though.
An 8? Okay, let me roll off here. Okay. You start laying some dice down. You start doing the different rolls. You start getting up a little bit of a racket. Actually, the men around you seem to be distracted. They seem to be a couple of drinks into the wind here. They're not really paying that much attention. So you win a couple of coins. Roll a d4 for me, please.
A 4.
A 4. You win 4 gold pieces during this exchange as they all kind of lose track of what they're doing, because I rolled a 6 for their wisdom. So yeah, so that's pretty good. Yeah, and then you said that after you cream these guys that you wanted to follow suit, or?
Yeah, I think I'm curious about, did I see the hooded figure of Mayor or just John Henry?
At this point, I think you were so enraptured with what was going on with John Henry, you didn't notice the other figure. Nope.
I think Goldie's curiosity will likely get the best of her, but she'll try to follow at a distance and stealthily.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and make a stealth test for me, please.
Okay, that's better. That's going to be a 16.
16. And you begin to follow in behind the men, keeping a sizable difference to not be directly noticed. And as you follow them and they move away, Piper, you feel a strange tingling sensation wash over you. It's a feeling that you have not felt in some time, not since about 12 years ago when you left the village of Hamelin. Did you feel this sort of strange connection? It is a feeling that comes from the weird, strange fae magic that permeates this land and helped guide your song that day.
Okay. Yeah, noticing this, it's kind of like that moment in Highlander when they detect another one, their presence.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's something sinister or something that's more of a presence for aid or anything like that. Because on that particular day and that incident of which you speak, there were several forces at play, but the one that carried the song to do what it did, it's a little bit on the sinister side.
Definitely. Definitely. I think with your bloodline, there is a certain connection to this Fey energy that you feel a collection of it starting to approach, and you instinctively begin to look around. If you could please make a perception check with advantage. Mayor, let's have you make a stealth test, please.
Uh, 15 for the Piper.
Okay.
16.
16. Okay. Piper, as you look around, you feel that Fey energy is calling to you as something approaches, and as you begin to look around, you're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. It gets fuzzy for a moment. It's like something blocks you from fully feeling what it is, and then as you're noticing this, there is a blue cloaked woman who seems to pass by you that you actually almost bump into her because you're so distracted, but she continues on out of the way, and you look around a bit confused. After a few moments, there is a certain tingling again, and you feel that energy is now behind you down the road a little bit. Oh, I'm seeing in our chat that everybody has advantage right now.
Uh-oh.
Juicy. It has begun. Let the mayhem begin, babies. All righty. So, as you feel this moving behind you, is there anything you want to do with this knowledge, Piper?
Yes, I kind of reevaluate the sensation again and all that, and it feels more Fayish than hag, so that sense of dread kind of wanes a little bit, but Piper is still cautious. So
okay. So you're staying with the carnival, or are you doing something different?
Moving in the same direction, general direction with the carnival, but also along the path of the city guard.
Okay.
Walking with John Henry.
Okay, very well. The four of you in your own roundabout ways begin to make your way closer to the large capital castle that is here. It is, as I mentioned, a large booming structure. It's made of what looks to be bronze and burgundy brick and metal in different sort of arrangements. It is very fine craftsmanship. It is exceedingly tall, large, and regal. You can see that there are several flags positioned on all the different pinnacles around it that are the flags of the nations here. You can see that the guard contingency here gets larger the closer you get as well. There are several of the guards. John, when you approach, they give you a nod or just plainly look away. They seem to be busy and very studious guards. They're not guys who are easily distracted, it would seem. And as the small group of the guards around you lead you further the rest of the way in, a little bit ways behind them, let's have Goldie and Mare please both roll stealth tests. You are following in. Well, Mare's kind of going her own way, but she's trying to be stealthy, she mentioned. But Goldie is following.
That is a natural 1 for a total
Natural
of 3.
Well, you do have that advantage if you want to be sneaky, or we can let the dice fall where they lie.
I'll use it.
Okay, all righty.
Why
How about
not?
you, Goldie? What did you get while she's re-rolling?
I got a natural 16, which is a 21.
Okay, yeah. We roll something here.
The advantage helped a little. I got up to an 11.
Okay. We'll use this
So
one.
then can I definitely see her now? Because
Yes. Goldie, as you are about to cross over the entryway that goes in towards the main courtyard of the castle, you see that there is a tall, really slimly built woman in a long, very finely tailored blue cloak who is standing off to the side, who is following in as well. You notice this because she definitely looks like she's trying to not stand out, but you notice things like this.
Can I try to look a little bit closer and discern like who this stranger is?
Sure, absolutely. I think if you want to stay far away, you make a perception. If you want to move closer, maybe try to interact, you can try an investigation, whatever sort of way you want to approach this.
I think what I'll do is investigation. Is there any way that I could use my eye for detail to get advantage on that investigation check? I know it's technically usually used in as a bonus action, but
Sure. Yeah, because you're an inquisitive rogue, I think you can use that. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem at all.
it says specifically make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues.
Yeah, perfect. Let's try it. Let's try it out.
Awesome. I got a natural 20.
Oh,
So,
wow.
That is a 24.
24. Okay. Mayor, you notice a halfling approaches you from far away. She looks like a human youth, but as you get closer, you've seen halflings before, and you see her approach as she seems to be looking at you. She's trying to determine what's going on with you, but you notice that she's doing this though, because she's actually stopping, taking her time to fully scan over and look at you. And you see ahead that the guard contingency has now entered in with the really tall man that they had approached, that you saw them walking with.
Oh boy. Mare will just continue walking forward, knowing full well that she's being monitored. And then I think she'll sort of just turn her head away a little bit to, stay within her cloak. But she knows eventually she'll be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So then what do I see though with my investigation check?
With a natural 20, my social security number.
Right.
Good. Okay. Yep.
Or boot
I definitely
size.
Yes. No, you could definitely tell that she is not from around here. I would say that you could probably guess based on her features and her posture even, as well as her clothing, that she is likely an elf and therefore definitely not from around here. Beyond that, there aren't any specific like pieces of insignia or anything on her clothing. And again, she's got a pack on her back, but it's small and it seems inane. So you don't really get much beyond that.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to clock elf. And I'm going to kind of try to be sneaky and follow her now instead of John Henry.
Interesting. Okay. So how do you do that then? Because she did notice that you were approaching and kind of looking at her and studying her. So she might kind of look and see what's going on with you. So are you trying to just kind of be...
I mean, I'm naturally stealthy, so I'll just hide behind like the nearest large person and immediately be poof, gone. Where did she go?
Okay.
I think you could get away with it too, because I think generally I have a goal in mind. I'm on my way somewhere, and if I stop to address you in any way, it's just going to draw attention. So I'll just keep moving.
Okay. And yeah, as you move in behind Goldie, you see that there is a man that you noticed that arrived with the carnival just a moment ago. He is actually approaching in behind you all as well. And you clock him as he looks like he is following something, but he looks like he maybe is confused or concerned as to what he's following. It strikes you as a little bit bizarre as well.
Finally, some excitement in this godforsaken town.
Right.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm just following everybody now. Like my investigation like radar is on high alert. I'm like, something fishy is happening. Like this random dude is being called to the queen. I want to know what that's about. And I might want to be involved if there's money involved.
The ultimate call to arms. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you start following in behind these two. So what it looks like to the casual observer is that Mare is making her way in surreptitiously. The Piper seems to be indirectly following her, and Goldie is very directly following him and her. Inside, John, you are led into the main courtyard, as I mentioned. As you come in, there is a receiving room, a really large, opulent, not disgustingly so. It's still well maintained, and it's regal as opposed to gaudy. And there is a man who approaches. He is a very tall, wide-shouldered man. He looks like he is a middle-aged. He's a human. He has a very finely styled mustache, as well as a bit of a goatee. He has a dark brown chestnut colored hair with graying at the temples. He is wearing a full plate suit of armor, and he has a large burgundy cloak on as well. You've seen this man in this town before. This is the high captain of the Queen's Guard, Captain Albrecht, and he approaches. Mr. Henry, thank you for coming. The matter at hand is most dire. I trust that we can believe in your discretion in this.
Henry sticks his hand out for a handshake. Discretion ain't exactly my strong suit, but I'm quite capable of keeping secrets if you need me to, sir.
Very well. He gets a grin, and he actually puts his hand out, takes your hand, shakes it, and he nods to the other men. I'll take him from here, gentlemen. Thank you for the good work. And the other guards all look to each other, nod, and they turn and begin to leave as well. And you follow Albrecht further in. He takes you to a back stairway that leads up to a second floor. And as he's walking, he says to you, as I mentioned, discretion is important with this. The Queen has a special task for you that she knows that your specific skills and duties would be helpful to discern through. And he stops for a moment on the stairs. He looks to you and he says, the common populace does not know of what I'm about to tell you, so that's why I want to make sure that you are aware that what you are about to see is between you and I and the Queen.
I will be certain to keep that in mind, sir.
Very well. And he moves to a very large oaken door. He raps a few times, and then the door slowly opens. And as you both enter into the room, what you see is it is a bedroom. It has a large four-poster bed in the center of the wall opposite the door. There is plush carpets in here. The bed is very finely decked out. There is different tapestries on the walls. You notice that there is, of all things, a spinning wheel off to the side of the room. And what you notice that really stands out to you is that there is in the bed a young woman. She is pretty. She's a human, and she has a distant look in her eye as she lies completely motionless in the bed, staring up at the ceiling. Sitting directly next to her is a woman that you would not expect to be sitting commonly like this. You're used to seeing Queen Brunhilde out and about, regally giving addresses, things of this nature. But as she turns, her auburn hair kind of cascades off of one shoulder. She's wearing her royal linens and her gown. She has her interesting, her diadem on her forehead that marks her as the Queen. And she looks to you and she gives a nod. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Henry. I'm at your advantage, I would seem. And she stands, she gives you a curtsy, which is interesting coming from a queen.
The honor is mine. And he removes the sledgehammer and sets it down and kind of gives a kneeling bow. If I'd known I was to be meeting with royalty today, I would have worn some better clothing. I'm just a simple working man, ma'am.
Well, that is quite all right. I have heard tale of the past that you have with the railroad and the works that you have done inspiring the populace. I must say that I'm a bit taken back by your reputation that precedes you as well. It's not every day that I am met with a legend of the local townsfolk here.
Legends are just stories, ma'am. I'm just a man that does his job well.
Indeed. She says to you, I am sure that you recognize my daughter, the Princess Aurora. There is a need that I have of a man of your talent. My daughter, she motions again to the girl in the bed, has been stricken with a strange malady, and she has fallen into a deep slumber of which she has not awoken for almost 1 week. I have had all of the different mages and different healers throughout the kingdom come to no avail. It would seem that there is magic that is keeping her in this state. And, well, we believe that there is someone responsible. I, if I could, would ask you to undergo a royal decree to seek out the source of this danger and perhaps to help us find a cure.
He gives this sort of confused look around for a moment, and pardon any indignities that this brings, but I'm just a rail worker. I can do odd jobs around town. I help build, I help tear down. I'm not a soldier, not a spy, nothing like that. I'd be happy to do what I can, but this seems a bit odd for me anyway.
Well, I would trust that a man of your skill set that is not entirely tied to my kingdom might be able to seek to lands that are distant to find out information that others might keep from a guardsman. And I know you are capable with that, as she motions towards the hammer.
That much I can do. And he lifts the hammer and places it back onto his back.
Mm-hmm. Outside in the main courtyard area, the other three of you have converged into the building. And at this point, as the three of you are beginning to look around, you all start to kind of realize that the three of you are kind of coming into the same area. And at this moment, there are several guardsmen that kind of approach out of different areas, seemingly out of different alcoves, different doorways, things of this nature. And coming with them is the High Captain Albrecht. As he approaches, he sees the three of you standing here, and he says, might I help the three of you specifically with what you are doing here?
I don't know what their business is, but I'm here to seek an audience with the Queen. I have been sent on a very specific job, and perhaps she has mentioned me. My name is Merriweather. I'm a godmother, and I would like to speak to her if at all possible.
He nods. She has spoke to me that one of the godmothers would be approaching. I'm a bit reluctant to believe that there's anything you could do to help, but I trust in our Majesty's judgment. What of the other two of you? He says, looking towards Piper and towards Goldie, who now Piper and Mayor, you realize that Goldie's even here.
Do I know the captain?
I think you might know him because you've had some run-ins with him that are not
Yeah.
entirely on the up and up. I think he's arrested you a couple times, yeah.
That I'm going to run. If he's arrested me before, I'm running away from him.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Please make let's make a dexterity check for me. I know that's going to be really good for you, being a rogue and a halfling.
Just straight dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a 16.
A 16, okay. You instantly make a turn and you run and start to bolt, and as you do, there are several guardsmen that come in.
Yeah.
They come in, and as they close in around you, there is one that you spin in underneath his legs, and he moves, and he actually half stumbles, almost falls over as he overcompensates for the fact that you move so quickly through his legs. You move in towards another one who comes in from the side. He reaches down to grab a hold of you. His fingers swipe through your blonde hair as he doesn't get a purchase. There is a
Ow.
third one, however, who steps in front of you and you ram right into his legs, stumble back, and slam onto your butt. He reaches down, he grabs a hold of you, and he hoists you up. I'm assuming maybe you're kicking, swinging your feet out of the way as he hoists you up off of the ground.
Kicking, punching. I didn't do nothing.
He just gives you a stern look, and then he, with you still fighting and squirming, he walks back towards Captain Albrecht. And Piper, you see all of this happen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you wish to do?
I'll Piper will say, "Oh, there's no need for that, gentlemen. She is with me. I am here to deliver the official proclamation for the arrival of the Witchlight Carnival." And he does a bow and he produces this scroll. It's a pretty fancy looking scroll. And I do believe this is the invitation from Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. My associate here apparently has run out of pamphlets that she was giving out within the town. I had hired her for the day to assist me. And I just kind of look at her like, give her like, that sly eye look at her and all that. I hate to see somebody in trouble like that. I didn't get a sense of anything dubious from her. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I hate to see somebody, just kind of, stumble into, being snatched up by the local authorities like that.
Goldie's got her arms like crossed, even though they've still like got her up by her jacket. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm his contact in the city. And they just got here and I was trying to help. Okay. So I know you hate me, Captain, but I'm just like trying to make a buck the honest way. Isn't that what you would want for me?"
And on cue, Piper pulls out a gold piece and he produces it to Goldie. And I said, "This should be compensation for your services today." And it's just like, there's no need for you. You can dawdle along if you'd like.
Albrecht looks to all of this. He gets a very interested look in his eye. Let's please do this. Let's have Piper and Goldie determine amongst yourselves which one of you wants to take the lead in this deception check, with the other one gaining advantage. So whoever has the higher deception would roll with advantage, basically.
Okay.
You.
Yeah, I would think Piper would do it because he initiated it. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I give him like the help action?
Yeah, that's why he's rolling with advantage. Yep.
Great.
Oh,
Let's do that.
All right. I've been seeing our rolls have been coming up in D&D Beyond while I've been playing, and it seems like people enjoy that. So I'm going to go ahead
Very cool.
Let's see.
Roll again. Deception check?
Yes, with advantage. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, the first roll is 15.
Okay.
And the second roll is 10, so 15.
Okay. Albrecht looks a bit confused. Well, I am pleased that you are making at least an honest effort at having an honest living. And he takes the carnival pamphlet scroll thing that you have. He opens it up, looks at it, seems to be legit, so he just gives a nod. The queen is indisposed. If you will wait here for a moment, I will be able to tell you exactly when you can be seen. Mr.
Piper. Mr. Piper will suffice.
Mayor, off to the side, you have overheard this as you're getting ready to be escorted out, and you hear him say that he is Piper. And when you look, you instantly recognize this individual. He has quite a reputation of his deeds in the past and what has happened in Hamelin, and the legend, the dark legend of the Pied Piper, and what exactly he did. How do you react?
Internally, I think. I don't know that Mare would try to cause a fuss, as she is an outsider here and trying to meet with the queen, so no trouble, but she definitely pings that, and she feels just sort of sort of when your stomach drops, there's a realization that is perhaps not ideal. And she makes note of that for later on.
Okay. And as you all are about to do whatever it is you're about to do, we have Piper and Goldie are waiting. We have Mare is about to be escorted. There is an individual who hurriedly comes into the room. He is an older man. He's kind of hunched a little bit. He's balding. And he says, they are all needed, actually. If you could please follow me this way. It would seem that there has been a bit of a development, and the Queen would like to meet with all three of these individuals. Hi, Captain. Albrecht turns to one of the Queen's advisors, gives a strange look. And then he looks back. Are you sure? And the man, oh, yes, quite sure indeed.
Yeah, Goldie's like, are you sure you mean me? Are you sure it's not somebody else?
Right. Yep. And Albrecht just gives a strange, cautious glance to all of you, and then he gives a nod. Follow me. And he leads the three of you, if you will follow, out of the room.
Okay. Piper will be the last to follow, and as he sees Mare and Goldie follow suit and whatever, as Mare passes, you see Piper just kind of raise a brow and kind of does a nod like that as she goes walking by.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to step on one of the guards' foot as I leave. Just a little act of rebellion, just and then keep going.
Nice. You do 1 hit point of damage. No.
Wow, I have amazing feet then.
Crunch. Yeah, I love it. Well, maybe you're a hobbit. You get the really big, boots. Giant, hairy feet. I don't know. No.
they need better boots, obviously.
That's it. That's exactly it. Back inside the princess's chamber, John, you are finishing your conversation with the Queen, and you are about to be told what exactly it is that she is speaking of. When the door behind you begins to open, she looks up in confusion, and then you turn over your shoulder to see Albrecht entering in. There is another man with him, a short, little, scrawny-looking type guy, and he nods. Oh, Queen, I believe that all 4 of those that needed to be present are now present. It is as the rhyme foretold. As she gives a look, and then her eyes go wide with surprise and interest. And Albrecht steps aside, and he motions for all 3 of you to go in. And you all 4 enter. Now you're all 4 together in the room as the 3 of you enter in and see John here with his hammer on his knee, like maybe he's swearing a vow or something. And she looks up, and she says, who are all of you? Perhaps you could tell me what it is you're doing here. I need a bit more. And she looks at this advisor guy. Proof before I believe that you are the 4 that I must seek. So, who are you?
Well, Your Highness, I'm Merryweather. I am one of the godmothers. I was tasked to come here. We operate on assignment, and this was my most recent assignment. A bit unorthodox and not quite what I'm accustomed to doing, but I was given an order and I have come here.
And Mare, you notice almost like a beacon calling to you the young woman in the bed who is in need of this moment. Your order has a bit of a guideline that you need to follow, that you need to protect and make sure that you help the weak and those in need. And this girl on the bed clearly fits that bill. Mm-hmm. So you know that force that has pulled you into here has led you to this moment. Okay. The Queen just slowly nods. I was not expecting the godmothers to answer so quickly. You are welcome here, godmother. She gives you a curtsy as well. She turns to the other 2. And I believe I have seen your ilk here before, she says, looking at you, Goldie.
Yes, Your Excellency, I guess, or Your Highness, ma'am, person, lady. I don't know. My name is Goldie. I run a private investigation business in the city. It is very reputable and not seedy or underground in any way, I can assure you. And I was just, I guess Goldie looks at the Piper and then looks back at her. I lied and said that I was delivering a pamphlet, but really I was just curious. I saw the guards come to collect John Henry here, and I know him around the neighborhood. And I was concerned when I saw 8 guards around him. But I don't know anything about the princess or the rhyme or any of these things. Well, to be honest, I was eavesdropping, and that was bad. And I understand if you would like to throw me in the dungeon again. So.
The queen very stoically takes us all in and then says, well, I appreciate your honesty. Not in great measure, of course, but I do appreciate that you have it now. Who might you be, sir? She says to Piper.
Your Highness, I am from the Witchlight Carnival, and I have come here today to herald the coming of the festivities. So I was coming to bring the official proclamation. I have taken it upon myself to do the herald duties for the carnival today. Normally, the acts never really venture out, but today was an exception. I kind of felt drawn here today, and from noticing what is happening now, that this might be part of some dark portent or omen. I seem to be attracted to those. So, but otherwise, Your Highness, my duties today was just simply to extend the invitation to the kingdom for the Witchlight Carnival.
The entire time you've been speaking, she's looked at the flute hanging on your back, and she says, you're a performer then?
Yes, Your Highness, I am.
She looks to the 4 of you as if realizing something about the 4 of you, and then she takes a very solemn nod. Thank you, advisor. And the guy who was very excited that you all were here, he shuffles out of the room. She looks to Albrecht. She goes, I believe that the fates are intertwining as it was suspected. And he just gives a nod. I will leave you to it, Your Majesty. He looks to you, Goldie, very sternly before he turns and he leaves the room and shuts the door.
Give him a little salute. And then after he's out of the room, I turn it into flipping him off.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would seem that the 4 of you have been brought to me for a reason. There, as you see, my daughter has been bewitched by a strange malady, and in this, there was more than just the malady that gave us concern. I sought advisors and different nobles from across the land hoping to cure my daughter, but to no avail. I believe that perhaps the clues that we had received were perhaps misjudged. Behold, and she will turn and she goes over to the side where one of those tapestries are, and she pulls a cord and the tapestry falls away from the wall. And behind it, carved into the wall, is strange writing of sorts that is burnt and scratched into the wall. And who here in the group speaks Sylvan? Anybody?
Piper.
The Piper does?
Mm-hmm.
That's it? Okay. I would think that, Mayor, you recognize it as Sylvan, which is an ancient tongue of the Elven Kingdom from before it split away and formed the hedge. It's a language that has not been used in some time. But Piper, however, you can read what it says. And I will send you what it says right now.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how we do.
Secrets.
Secrets. Oh, no, it's going to be right in the thing. Everybody can see it.
Pay no mind.
It appears to be a iambic pentameter rhyming couplet poem, perhaps, a strange designation on the wall that seems to talk about some sort of strange portent. You read it, in some sort of strange way, your blood begins to beat faster in your chest as your bloodline, the fey magic that courses within you, begins to bubble to the surface and make you notice the words. And they seem to have a certain recognition deep within that you can't quite place. You know, for some reason, that this has to do with the hag's doing. And that fills you with a little bit of dread. The rest of you all watch that even though he is painted up, he does go pale slightly, and a single bead of sweat drips down his forehead as he has some sort of revelation about what the wall says. Do you wish to say any of what the wall says aloud, Piper, or are you going to keep the information to yourself?
I'll turn to the queen and say, Your Highness, were you able to understand the words of this particular phrase that is written here? And I will point to a part in the writing itself to see what she says.
We were able to glean glimpses of it. The Sylvan language is one that has been lost to all of us here in the Seven Kingdoms, but we were able to gain a little bit of insight as to what exactly it said. We know it speaks of a crafter, an animal of some sort, a minstrel that will apparently go on a journey. It also speaks that, and she points to the end of it, 6 and 1, the realms of man shall be burned, to never renew love safely returned, as she kind of runs her fingers across it. It's the only thing we were truly able to fully translate, and it does not seem to bode well for the Seven Kingdoms. Are you able to read the rest of it?
Yes, Your Majesty, I am. Is there a particular revelation that you would care for Piper to make, Kevin? Like, in particular, I can confirm everything that she says, as far as the crafter, a bear, and a minstrel. But I mean, let's see, in one of Mother's flocks. So yeah, I'll convey to her, according to this legend, it seems that you have all your players on the board, Your Majesty, for this. It seems like the fates have intertwined us as it was predestined, and how would you like us to serve? And I'll glance around the room, and you mentioned that there was a spinning wheel. Is that correct?
Yes.
My gaze kind of just darts suddenly to the spinning wheel.
Okay. It is a wooden spinning wheel that does seem to have some sort of yarn partially fed through it, as if someone was actively working on it, but now they're not. It's just been stopped in the middle of whatever it was they were trying to spin on it.
Okay. May I do an investigation check on the spinning wheel?
Absolutely. Is there anything that anybody else would like to do in this moment? Any questions they'd like to do? Any sort of investigation they want to do? Or
I was hoping to check out like the nature of the writing, if possible, like how it appeared on the wall, because you said it was burned and scratched. So I'd like to get closer to the actual writing and try to do an investigation on that.
Okay, absolutely. Mayor John, is there anything you want to do in this moment?
Mayor would ask the queen first, respectfully, if she could take a closer look at the princess and see if there's anything that she might know, in her experience, and even, living north of the hedge, if there's anything that she can glean from sort of taking a look and, trying to understand more.
Okay, absolutely. That sounds great.
John just looks a little bewildered. He's he recognizes who Goldie is because they live they're swimming around the same circles. He just knows that the Piper is somebody that was traveling with the carnival, and he's never seen Mare before in his life, and probably has only heard like rumors of the Godmothers. So to him, he's just like, I don't know what's happening. So he's just kind of watching everything with a bit of bewilderment.
Right. Okay. Very good. Let's have Goldie and Piper please make investigation checks. Mare,
Okay.
you can make either a intelligence arcana or history or medicine, or perhaps more than one if you want to get different informations.
I already rolled and I had gotten a 17 on my investigation.
Okay. As you approach the wall, Goldie, what it looks like is some sort of really hot instrument of some sort burnt and scraped into the wall, leaving scorch marks around the letters. Now, you didn't recognize it as letters, but based on the conversation that Piper had with the Queen, you could tell it's something that's written on the wall here. And so, yeah, somebody carved this into the wall with some sort of strange implement that was both hot and exceedingly sharp and hard.
And is it arcane in nature? Like, was it magical, or is it some kind of like hot instrument?
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. I'm not very good at that.
Okay,
So
that's
we'll
all right.
see. No, I got a natural 1, so that's a
Okay.
3.
Well, you are a halfling. You have lucky. You're able to reroll.
I'm going to
once if you
re-roll my
want.
1. You're right.
Okay.
I'm going to
There
re-roll
you
that
go.
1. It's still only a 3, so it's a
Okay.
5.
Okay.
Maybe
And you have advantage from the chat you haven't used yet if you want to use that.
I'm going to use my advantage. Okay, now we've got an 18.
Okay.
So we like that.
Yes. It definitely looks like it's magical in nature. You've investigated different crime scenes and you follow different people in the past that have used magic to try to cover up sort of shenanigans they've been up to. And you could definitely recognize it as such, for sure. Piper, you make your way over to the spinning wheel. And as you begin to investigate it, what did you give for your investigation check?
The initial investigation check, I had it focused mostly on the thread and the weave part of the spinning wheel. But would I be able to do another investigation check specifically on the needle itself?
Well, what did you get on the initial investigation check? Just
Six.
a 6.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I just got it as common thread, common.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can make another one. I'll say with the disadvantage because you had rolled so low on the first one, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay. That was nat 20.
Okay.
But you said disadvantage. So
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. 17.
17. Okay. 17 is still pretty good. You see that on the needle of it, there is a bit of dried blood on the tip of it, as if someone pricked their finger or some other sort of part of them on the needle.
Okay. All right.
That's what you're able to glean at this time.
Okay. And I will turn my gaze towards we'll just call her the sleeping princess and Mare. And if my eyes lock with Mare's, I will do a nod to the spinning wheel itself, particularly the needle, so she could see.
Okay. Perfect.
Interesting.
Perfect.
Mare is going to walk over to the bedside, take the princess's hand, and just sort of try to understand. I rolled twice. First, I rolled a medicine check just to sort of see if there are any basic, physical elements of this that, are part of this issue that she's having. I rolled a 17 for that. And then beyond that, knowing that they wouldn't call us in here if it was just the flu. So I also want to try to tap into magical energy and see if I can figure out what arcane notes are sort of in this too. And for that, I rolled an Arcana check and I got a 22.
Okay. Yeah, you could definitely tell that the princess, she is, in, for lack of a better term, to use our kind of our dialogue that we use here in the real world. She's basically in some sort of magically induced coma state. She seems to be unresponsive. She's not dead. She just seems to be suspended somehow. It's strange. It's different, but you can definitely tell it's magical in nature. You can see that her left hand has strange coloration around the tip of her index finger that spreads down into her palm and halfway up of her wrist. It looks like some sort of dark veins that are spreading out underneath her skin. And as you are actually investigating, you look and you can see the smallest little bit of that spread slightly, almost as if it's you're actively watching it continue to spread through her arm. Which is a little sorry. This is definitely magical in nature.
Okay.
You have seen curses like this before. You know that in a matter of time, the person who has been afflicted with this curse will be destroyed. You also know that there are very few ways to combat this curse, but make a knowledge history test for me, please, if you don't mind. I'm going to give you an advantage because you are an elf, so you have informations that the rest might not have.
I love it. Okay. History. All right. I got a dirty 20.
Okay. You know that certain types of ancient tomes and different kinds of rituals are contained within them that might be able to combat something like this. But you know that something that is this powerful could only really truly be stopped by a very powerful magical spell or item. And you remember in the past that there was a certain affliction that befell one of the leaders of the human race during the war with the elves. And there was an ancient tome that was used to restore them and to save them. But that tome has since been lost because it was housed within a structure called the Library of the Elders. And the Library of the Elders was consumed when the hedge was created. It no longer exists because the hedge swallowed it up.
Well, that is good information to have, but it also presents some problems. I will, I'll sort of just give the princess's hand just a gentle squeeze and walk back to the rest of the group. And I'll relay this information about what I sort of have been able to see from her. It is primarily arcane. I'll, sort of go over the sort of the historical nature of this, the previous case, the tome. And so I think we need to, I guess the best bet that I can see would be to retrieve this book somehow and use it to help figure out what's going on with her.
That being said, pardon my interruption back here.
Please.
Do you have any idea of where we should start? Like a city, a place, anywhere?
Great question. Would I have any idea where to start?
I think with that 20 that you got, you would know where the Library of the Library of the Elders was. So you would know where it would be if it was still where it was.
Okay.
You know that there is, well, you're not entirely sure specifically being down you've been down below the hedge before, but you haven't traveled to all of the lands of the humans. So you're not entirely sure what would be the most expedient way to get there. But you do know that there is one of the human cities called Nordgrat, which is about 50 miles away from the line of the hedge. That is where the Library of the Elders was when it still stood.
Okay. Yeah, that would be my best guess. Going where it used to be. And if nothing else, maybe we could figure out where any of the wreckage ended up.
I mean, I can work with that. I'll leave as much of the decision making to you. I'm just the doer.
Right. Now, Nordgrot from Lorna, Maine here, it would easily, if you all were to walk, it would probably take you months of travel. It's quite a distance away. If you were to perhaps ride horses, you could maybe cut that down a little bit, a caravan even more so. But John, you know a surefire way to get to all of the major cities here, and that is the railroad that you helped build. You know specifically when Mayor mentions Nordgrot that it is one of the last and furthest stations for the northern line of the train railroad that heads in that direction. So if you take that, it could maybe take just a few days.
I mean, if we're trying to get there, there is the railroad. I know it does take a few days, but it is the last stop.
Is there any railroad north of the hedge? Do we have anything like this, or would this be an entirely new?
This would be something entirely down
Ooh.
below the hedge. The Elven
Okay.
lands do not have need of something like that. They have other means of traveling quickly.
Okay. So a railroad, I don't under, is it magic? How does it get you, I mean, in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, the railroad line, John, is magical in nature. It is a mixture of magic, steam, and mechanics. Specifically, Javante, I'll have you build the lore a little bit here because your character helped build it. How specifically does it work in a general sense?
So the planar travel railway system it utilizes specific metals that are capable of sort of ethereally passing through the different planes to help make travel less of a chore. Navigationally, it functions predominantly through archonic machine implementations, cores in the actual trains that are alchemical in nature. The line itself is built off of the same metals as the cores. As long as the cores are active and are maintained, the train can travel pretty much anywhere at any time. It takes less time for the trains to move places as a typical railway system, but it's still a train. As far as John Henry knows of how it works, you lay down track and the train does the rest.
Right. I love that. Absolutely.
Well, it sounds like an incredible way to travel. I think that is wonderful. That could be very helpful for us.
Can do. I might be able to swing at least a couple tickets, maybe.
Oh, I would gladly pay my way or really make sure that we can all get on there, but that's very kind.
The queen, who seems to have just been silent this entire time, letting you, the four of you, do your work, she gets back into the conversation and says, I would be more than happy to pay you any sort of expenses that you might have during your journey. I can see that you are properly compensated to make it a reality.
Well, you've got my attention now, lady. Your Highness, Your Excellency. Sorry.
She looks at you, she raises an eyebrow. She says, you would actually require payment to save the High Princess.
Didn't you just offer payment? So I'm confused.
She gives you a look like maybe she's taken aback, but she just curtly nods by pursing her lips. She looks a little taken aback by this, but she understands where you're coming from. So yeah, it seems to be settled that the four of you wish to go on the planar railroad to head towards Nordgrad to see if you could perhaps get to the edge of the hedge and see what's going on there. Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. Very good. Very good. Specifically, you all are able to do that. You're able to go get outfitted. It'll be a couple of hours for the queen to get everything she needs to make you all ready to go. I think it's in a kingdom like this, with the railway being so frequent as it is, there's many, many times during the day it's going to be able to depart. So there won't be any problem with that. You'll be able to, again, it might take, we'll say about 2.5 days to get there. Something that does, however, pipe up to you, Piper, pun intended, is that the Witchlight Carnival that you are part of is not exactly going to be staying here forever. So you have a limited time. Basically, the carnival is intended to come in for a week and travel back out. So this could perhaps play a little bit with what you are required to do with that. Is there anything that you want to maybe consider with this plan?
Yes. One of the things that I also, to even complicate things even further, time-wise, is I will take a look at the pinprick on the princess's hand and notice that it is spreading. And I will raise my concern to Mayor that it seems that we are also on an accelerated timeline with this. I've seen many hexes, and this is one that spreads like poison. So we need to be expedient with this as well. Not just for my sake of being here, but for the sake of the princess as well.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Okay. So Piper takes this all in and is just like, yeah, we got to get going.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. So the four of you, like I said, are outfitted. You're ready to go. Is there anything specifically that you all want to do in preparation before you begin to go? Is there any sort of things you need to do here within the city? Just kind of a little bit of a montage, I guess you could say, just something you want to do before you have to go, or are you all just ready?
I think one thing Goldie would do is she would return the gold coin back to Piper. And she'd say, thanks for sticking up for me back there, but I gotta earn my own gold, if you know what I mean.
Steal it. Oh.
No, I earn my gold. I never steal.
Sure.
I have a very profitable business. See, I have a business card. I give everyone a business card. It says Goldie and Associates.
Love it. Love
Very
it.
nice.
And it has an address, but it's like basement on such and such street. I don't have any like debts or anything, or like debtors right now, do I?
No.
That
No,
I need to
not
hide from?
Not here. No, you're
Okay. I'm good. I just wasn't sure if I need to like smooth something over, like, hey, I'm gonna have money soon. So I'm in the green right now, is what you're saying.
Yes.
That's good. It's a good week for Goldie, for sure. It's been good.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get that queen money now. It's gonna be gold.
I'm going to John Henry is going to finish up whatever job that he had been doing here prior. I also want to see if whoever is helping to run the line in the city is somebody that John Henry knows.
Okay. Make a charisma check.
I'm surprisingly good at those.
Well, of course. I think that reads. No.
It is a little bit. I'm not that good at those. I thought 11.
11. Okay. Yeah, I think the gentleman who is running the train station here, you've worked with him before in the past. He's a railroad worker from the past as well, and he definitely can kind of help you out, kind of get you squared away. He understands that you got to cut out all of a sudden. It's not like you to typically cut out like this, but he understands.
John Henry, I could always check if there's any dirt on him if he needs some leverage. Just let me know. It's kind of what I do.
It's not leverage that I'm needing, little lady, but thank you for the offer nonetheless.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure.
I know Mayor would definitely want to talk with Piper on maybe writing down the big, poem on the wall, just to make sure that we have that to reference if needed. But I think that she would absolutely be at this point conversing with him in a very businesslike manner, and then move on. She's still very wary of this character.
Okay. Piper, you do understand that she is wary of you. This comes with the territory. There are a lot of people who know of your reputation and of your past, and she seems to, however, have some sort of other insight that you can't quite place.
Right.
Now that you're doing these strictly business interactions with her, you can tell that this strange Fae connection that you were feeling does emanate from her. So perhaps you're in on a little secret that she might be keeping as well, but you can't quite place what it is.
Sure. I'm becoming more accustomed to the feelings and a little bit of the insight with it. And within our business discussings and things like that, I do get a sense that perhaps she is part of something that I have dealt with before. Is like, because towards the end of the story of the Piper, how it all concluded or whatever, I ended up on Mare's side of the realm, and I think she knows that. So that might be why she's a little leery. But as we finish up our business, I tell Mare that I must take my leave. It'll be brief. And with that, I am going to excuse myself, bid farewell to Your Highness, and tell her I shall return soon to meet up with the others. And I'm going to go to the Witchlight Carnival and speak with Mr. Witch and Mr. Light, and tell him, just that I have some business with the Queen, and that perhaps if I should miss the carnival or something like that, that I do know of a way, not specifically to get back to the carnival, but at least get to a place to where I can meet them again. And with that, I would think, if Kevin allows it, that Mr. Witch would give me something in the shape of a little pocket watch. So it's a token, basically what it is. It would just guide me back to the Fae realm where the carnival goes.
From. Yeah. I don't think that'd be a problem at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Cool. So after several hours of getting everything equipped, getting everything ready to go, you all go about dealing with your personal business. You all begin to come back. And as you are reconvening back in the main courtyard area here, the main receiving area, to have Albrecht give you the rest of the information that you need and give you the funds and the different accoutrement that you need to go on your journey, you all come back together, and you feel like there's importance here. There's definitely a reason for you all to be traveling together, and this all seems really easy, really calm, and really, this feels right. The four of you coming together for some strange reason. It is, however, in this moment of this revelation about one another that suddenly you all begin to hear screaming and yelling from somewhere nearby. You can hear, "Man the gates! Wolves at the gate!" And you can hear different calls. There's sounds, there's scraping, there's howls and roars that fill the night. And there are definitely screams that are mixed in amongst the howls and the growling as well. And the four of you, what do you want to do with this revelation here?
That's a job for a working man. Take a sledgehammer and head over to where that sound is.
Mare will follow quickly.
The guards might have it handled, right? Like they might be
Goldie,
fine.
come on. We stick together now. Let's go.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Right.
The four of you rush outside to where you can see in the northern section of the city where the front gates are, there is a group of guardsmen that are quickly in combat with some sort of dark shadow-like forms that slink in through the open gates of the northern part of the city. As these forms start to burst in, there is one of them that is large and encompassing that jumps up on top of one of the guards, bears him down to the ground. It begins to bury its maw in his face and throat, and there is blood and gore that sprays everywhere. People nearby are screaming and running in fear, and you see that there are two of these creatures, wolves as black as the night itself, that seem to materialize with strange golden tendrils of energy in amongst their fur. As they move, you can see that there is a third one slowly loping through the front gates of the city, a strange void-like orb in the center of its forehead that is permeating with magical runes that begin to pulse and flicker through the light. These beings start to slink in, and you know that you have precious moments for the four of you to react before they begin their carnage on Loram, Maine. But this is a perfect time, I think, for us all to take a bit of a break, because everybody, I think, is getting a little bit angsty.
No!
So we will
Come on.
we will thank everyone for being here so far, and we hope that everyone will join us after a 5-minute break where we will jump into some battle. We will see what our four heroes are able to do in their first little bit of dangerous encounters in this world. So, stick around. Come on back. Don't forget, hand in your bits for some fun stuff with the players. There's two of them still with that advantage, but you can give us more, and I believe I have one too. So it's about to get real when we come back. So stick around. All righty. Welcome back, one and all. Here we are. Monday Night Mayhem begins, and so will the mayhem of Once Upon a Rhyme. This map that you're about to see for this combat encounter is brought to us by Neutral Party, one of my favorite places to get VTT encounter art. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And you'll see some more a little bit later in other episodes too. So stick around for that. Everybody is here. Everybody's ready to recap very briefly our first half. We had four strangers arrive in the town of Loram, Maine, the capital of the Kingdom of Alamy, where they have been asked and tasked to find a cure for a strange sickness that is afflicting the Princess Aurora. She's been put into a deep sleep. One of our party, an elf named Mayor, has let everyone know that there is a mystical book in a library that was swallowed up by the hedge that might be able to make a difference. But before they can leave, however, three vicious wolves as black as night with strange magical runes upon them have burst through the front city gates and are making quick work of the city guard stationed there. Can our four legends of fairy tale make the difference here? Let's find out, shall we? So here we are. This is the scene as it has been played out thus far. Party members, I have put you right there where you are currently positioned as a bit of just a default. If you want to shift that around real quick before we get started, that's fine. Nothing crazy like I'm on top of this wolf or something weird, bizarre like that. But this is what we see. So.
Gotcha. Let's see.
I think behind John Henry is perfect because
Yeah,
he's definitely a size larger than me, so I can hide behind it.
Definitely. That works good. Alrighty. So first things first, as we like to do with combat, let's go ahead. Let's roll some initiative, everybody. The so magical words.
Natural 20 on initiative.
yeah.
Right here.
done.
I love that. I love that.
Well, you can join with me in that exact same statement as I also got a nat 20 on initiative.
Oh my goodness.
It does,
Nice.
however, with my negative
Get
one, would be a
hyped.
19.
Get hype in the chat. We've got 2 nat 20s. So then mine's a 23 on initiative.
Mine would be a 19 exactly.
Oh wow. I love
But
it. I love it.
you have a -1 to your initiative.
I have my dex is a -1.
Oh my god.
He's a big strong man.
Do you see the muscles on John Henry? Do you think I could like bend anywhere?
Oh man.
That's it. That is
Amazing.
it.
Let's keep these good rolls going. I got an 11.
All right.
Just,
All right.
just kidding, guys. It's terrible. We'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah, Piper came up with 17 total on his initiative roll. 15 plus
Alrighty.
2.
Nice.
Beautiful. So, as the 4 of you spring into action, seeing these wolves mauling and viciously attacking the city guard, Goldie, it is you who takes the advantage from your quick, nimble speed. You surge forward, and you can see that one of the wolves, which will be depicted with a purple ring on the map here, is actually devouring partially one of the guardsmen, has bore him down to the ground, is muzzle deep in his chest and throat, and there is blood and gore that is sprayed all over both the concrete and the wolf, and the guardsman as well. There is a second one down to the south, which is currently being fought by 2 guardsmen, and there is a third one that is bigger. This third one, depicted by the orange ring here, as it begins to saunter its way through the front city gates, you see that its eyes glow with an unholy and eerie orangey gold light, and it has strange runes upon its forehead. This wolf is quite larger than the other 2, about the size of a small horse. So, Goldie, what do you want to do with all this information and knowledge ahead of you?
Well, I certainly don't like that. Would you say that the purple wolf, even though he's devouring a guard, is technically within 5 feet of an ally, which would be the guards?
Oh, interesting. I see what you're trying to do here. But I would say technically not. But because this is the first round, it hasn't acted yet, you will still get advantage because of the fact that it's not really fully ready for you all to spring in.
Excellent. So I'm just going to step slightly to the side of John Henry so I have line of sight. And I'm going to use my hand crossbow and try to sneak attack.
All righty. Roll it up for me, please.
And I guess we haven't quite said, I'm playing Goldie as a inquisitive rogue. So that's going to be a 22 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that'll definitely hit, I think.
Okay. So I'll do 3d6 of damage with my sneak attack.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's 8. I rolled 2 1s, sadly, on those damage roll. So it's only 8.
All right.
And then I think I will bonus action hide behind John Henry.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, you jump forward. You
Or
heft it up.
actually, can I do these bushes over here? Sorry.
Yeah, totally fine. Absolutely.
Because I assume he'll move at some point. So.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe
That's
just
my
hang
turn.
on to the back of him.
Just like Spider Monkey on his back. Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
there
great.
you go.
No, I'll do the bushes. I'll do the bushes.
Yeah, I'm sensing a fastball special in our future at some point. We'll see.
I would love that. We'll figure out the details.
There we go. Yeah, so you jump out, you take a shot, it hits, the aim is true. It slinks into the shoulder of this large wolf, and it barely even flinches. It felt it, but it is on the prowl, it's on the hunt, and it is on a destruction warpath right now. So although it does take damage, it's not enough to do anything really quite yet. John, as Goldie surges out from the side of you, what do you do, sir?
John is going to ready the sledgehammer in both hands and is going to, sorry, kind of move something here. Is going to shift himself forward towards the wolf that Goldie just hit. I'm just going to see if I can boop that wolf in the snoot.
All righty. Yeah, your large hammer comes off of your back into hand. You grip it both hands. Your muscles flex from the power that surges through you. And as you move forward, there is a light that shimmers across the head of the sledgehammer. What's that roll?
That is going to be, let's see here. I'm going to roll that with advantage. so I don't get a nat 1.
Oh, this is your chat advantage you're using?
Yes.
Okay. Making a note. Yeah, some of you gifted some of your bits to give the party members advantage. We currently have that David's Piper is the only one who still has his advantage, and I have an advantage as well. So
that is going to be a 19 total.
Oh, that'll hit too. Yeah, 19
Sweet.
comes in. Yep, it's a powerful blow.
So that, and because we leave with 2 hands, I'm going to do that's 1d10 for me.
Nice.
So that's a total of, sorry, doing math in my head.
No.
11 points of damage.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, you bring the hammer down and you hear something crack and pop in the wolf's back as the hammer buckles it slightly as it's almost knocked off of the man on the ground. And as you recoil, you see the wolf turns and snarls in your direction as it realizes that you are a threat. And as that's happening, though, Piper, what do you do?
Piper chooses wolves 1, 2, and 3, and will cast Bane for his action. So they will get they'll have to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
13's the GC, and should they fail, they'll have a D4 against them on their attack rolls.
Perfect. Okay. Well, the 2 regular, well, they're bigger than regular, but I'm going to call them regular size wolves because the big one, as you can see in the back, is much larger. The 2 wolves in the front that are attacking the guards, both one of them fails, the other one succeeds, and the big wolf does succeed because the DC was a 13, you said, correct?
Correct.
Yep. So we're going to mark this one that's purple here. It's going to be the one that failed.
Okay. All right, and that is my action
D4
for this round.
Okay. Yeah, so you swing your flute back off of your back, you bring it up, you play something that is strangely discordant and strangely inviting, and it washes over the wolves, and that one seems to be affected by its haunting melody. The wolves, there is the one directly in front of John Henry. It presses the advantage and tries to attack you, sir. It's going to go ahead and roll a bite at you. Oh, boy. Great start for the DM with a natural 1.
Hey.
I'm going to go ahead and use my advantage, and we'll roll again. All the advantages are gone. So, Chad, if you want to hand in your bits, get this party having a little more excitement, get them on in. So to hit, this is going to be a 19 to hit, John.
That do be hitting.
Okay. That wolf turns and with a snarl, it comes at you. Its teeth sink into your thigh just above your knee. You're going to take 10 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
As it sinks in, it begins to rip and tear at the flesh, rips away part of your clothes. If you could, please make a strength check as the weight of this creature starts to force you back.
A strength check, you say?
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, strength saving throw, excuse me.
Oh, strength saving throw. Okay, yeah. That's a 19.
19. And as it starts to push you back, you are just a big man. You know how to throw your weight around and when not to have it be thrown around. So you just stand your ground, dig your feet in, and as it pushes on you, your feet dig into the cobblestones of the street and you don't go anywhere. That working man strength is going to carry you through this. The one down here at the bottom that is, it's getting fought by the guards. It's going to attack them. And it is going to turn and with a vicious snap, it's going to bite into the guardman who is here, who he actually bears down to the ground and he starts ripping away parts of his stomach. The guardsman screams and eventually his screams become a gurgle as he is slain. He now has a little red ring around him to show you that he is deceased. Actually, the red rings around them are all deceased. So that's that wolf. Mayor, you have taken a moment to see everything that's gone on. You've kind of assess the situation, what would you like to do?
Oh, so much. Mare is going to first sort of move around and back just a little bit. And then she is going to channel the divine energy within and send a guiding bolt out to the big boy in the middle. And see what that does to him, because he looks not of this world. So I will roll for a first level guiding bolt. Dirty 20 to hit. And then that is, oh, it shows up funky here. 10 points of radiant damage to the big bad wolf. And then just a reminder, whoever goes to attack it next has advantage because it's glowing with radiant energy. Sort of like a light blue, hazy something or other going on with it.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. You gesture, you fired this out of a wand that you procured out of your belt, and you gesture and you flick, and something like we'd see out of some sort of Harry Potter badass battle. It surges forward, slams into the wolf, and yeah, it does get singed. There is now that blue nimbus that glows around its body, marking it as easier to attack for your allies. As we spring into round 2, top of the round, Goldie, you watch the big wolf. It continues to saunter in, and as it sees everything that's going on, it assesses everyone here, and it makes a lunge towards John Henry. And it is going to attack with a 17 to hit, John.
Yep.
All righty. You are going to take 11 points of piercing damage as the wolf bites into you, and it starts to push you back as well. Please make a strength saving throw for this creature as well.
That is a 12.
A 12. This wolf, much stronger than the other one that you fought. It bears its teeth into your hip, picks you up off of the ground, and using its momentum, takes another step forward and slams you into the ground directly in front of Goldie. Goldie, it is your turn, though, as you see all this happen.
Okay. How is the purple one looking? Is he looking hurt or not really?
Well, I would say on a scale of 0 to 35, it looks like a 16. No, it looks like it's hurt a little bit. It's still in the fight though.
I think I have a better chance of taking that one out early than the bigger one.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use my advantage because I'm hiding and John Henry's within 5 feet.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna attack again with my hand crossbow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you load another bolt and you bring the crossbow up.
Yep. So that's going to be a 24 to hit.
I think that'll be successful.
Cool. And then I'll do your 3d6 damage with sneak attack.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Okay, I got 9, 10, 11. I got 14 damage. So I'm super close on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, when you pull up the hand crossbow, you fire, the bolt goes forward. It takes it right in the throat, and it actually stumbles a little bit, and you could tell it did not like that. It turns, and it starts to cough, as it looks like it's quite hurt by that. It looks like it's barely standing. John, you are currently on the ground
and,
with this.
Sorry, just my bonus action.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm sorry.
Hide again.
Yeah, you got it. Yep. Sorry about that. Oh, you pesky rogues with your crazy bonus actions. Love it.
And I'm in a bush.
Hey, what more could you ask for, right? Yeah, so John, you are on the ground. This wolf has forced you down. It's kind of holding you down on the ground. So you are technically, you're kind of pinned. So if you want to resist, you have to do another strength check. You could also try athletics too, if you want to maybe use some sort of, physical labor type of actions that you're used to doing.
I am going to try to use athletics and just see if I can pry the jaws off and get myself away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's an 18.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You reach forward, you grab a hold of the jaws, you start to pull, and you can feel its jaw like straining against your arms. Your muscles bulge. The veins are kind of bulging out against the skin, and you rip its jaw off of your hip and you start to push it back. Do you want to try to get up at all? It'll be about half your movement, but I would say because you're grappling it, pretty much would be your movement to get up if you want to force it back and get to your feet.
Because I'm assuming that getting its jaws off me would have been my action, so I doubt I can attack. I will try to get up, just at least get myself back to my feet.
Okay. And straining against the weight of this massive wolf, you slowly stand and push it up so that it's now upright, and so are you. Piper, you see this large specimen of a man fighting back against this massive wolf. You can see the runes on its forehead, almost like trails of smoke, sift off of its forehead and drift off into the soon-to-be dusk air. What do you want to do, Piper?
Okay. Piper will reach into his satchel and pull out what appears to be a skull, and he's going to reach out using his class ability into Tales from Beyond. And there's going to be a chart to roll to see what effect this will bring. So that'll be he's doing that as his bonus action. Depending on which tale gets told will determine what action he'll take after that, because you can hold you can hold that action until you're ready to use that particular tale, that feature. So all right, I'm going to use that opportunity to do that. I got to roll a d12 actually to determine what tale will be told. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, just had to get to the chart.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay, 6. Okay, Tale of the Traveler. The target gains temporary hit points equal to roll of your bardic inspiration die, and plus your bard level. Let's see. While it has these temporary hit points, the target's walking speed increases by 10 feet, and it gains a +1 bonus to its AC. So Piper will grant that boon to John Henry as his action.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So
much.
Yeah, so he'll have, let's see, a roll of the bardic inspiration die. Okay, that is a 3 plus my bardic level, which is a 3. So that is 6 temporary hit points. And he's got a +1 bonus to his AC.
Very cool. Yes. Piper, as you bring out this skull, poor Yorick, you knew him. You look into his eyes, and the abyss within give you strange secrets that the the spirits speak in this land. And as that fey magic taps into something otherworldly, you are granted this boon that you gift to your ally, because you're training in the College of Spirits.
Yes.
Very cool. Alrighty. So the wolves continue to press their advantage. I did update these tokens with little skulls, so that's not something new, everybody. Those are just dead folk. So don't be concerned. There's not skulls flying everywhere, but
skeletons suddenly appear.
That's it. They just rise up. No. The smaller of the two wolves that is in front of John Henry is going to. This is the one that's injured. It's got the crossbow bolt sticking out of its neck. It's going to try to actually look around, kind of size up what's going on with everything. It looks in the direction of you, Goldie, because you are hiding. Make a stealth test, please.
Happily. Okay, I'm going to re-roll that natural 1.
Oof.
Okay. Yay, halflings.
And I got a dirty 20.
Woo.
Okay. It looks in your direction, but it does not see where that attack came from. You are successfully hidden within the brush, and as it looks around, it just decides to, you know what? Attack this big beefy guy in front of me. It's what I have to do.
Hitting me.
And it attacks you, John Henry.
Sorry.
That's fine.
It is going to miss you, however, with a 9. So it just snaps out. Its heart's not completely into it. It is wounded at this point. The large one, however, is going to attack as well. Okay, that one is going to hit with a 21 to hit.
All right.
And as it comes forward, you are going to take 11 points, brutal, of piercing damage as it bites into your stomach again, and it tries to knock you back down off of your feet. You think, and you prepare yourself for that, and as you are holding on to it, its maw closes around your stomach. You feel a blast of cold Arctic air that blasts through you and starts to freeze you up and hit some of your extremities. I need you to please make a dexterity saving throw.
And Kev, just double checking, that still hits with his +1 to AC that he got?
Yes, because I have a 17 in my armor class with that.
Bummer.
That's a great thing to bring up, though. Yeah.
I had dex save. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Oh, okay.
Yes!
Okay. So you are going to take half damage from this breath weapon effect that it has. Luckily, it doesn't have a lot of those.
Oh, that's actually not going to matter.
No?
No, I have 2 health.
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So as the ice blasts around John Henry, there are shards of the blood that freeze on his stomach, crumble and flake down onto the ground. As he gets semi-frozen in place, he staggers slightly, drops to a knee, and the ice encloses around him and freezes him in that position. John Henry is seemingly out of the fight because you're going to take a whopping 12 points of cold damage, which puts you negative. So you are negative, but you're not out of the fight quite yet. Cool. Well, not cool, but
Cool.
so that was the. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I forgot to make a note. I'm good. That was Piper the Wolves and Mare. Oh, I'm sorry. The other wolf, it's fighting the guardsman. Sorry. Yeah, it is this guardsman that is down here on the lower part by the green enclosed wolf. It dodges out of the way of a wolf's bite as it drops prone to the ground. So, Mare, I'm sorry, it is your turn.
Okay. So she's incredibly frustrated seeing that her new friend is now, finding himself frozen on the ground. So she's holding her wand, and you'll see she's going to, for a bonus action, cast Spiritual Weapon. So a large gleaming sword, sort of glowing with blue energy, will show up sort of behind the big boy, just south of the dead guy. And so that will show up there, and I get to roll for that. So for the first attack with that spiritual weapon, that would be a 16 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Okay, fantastic. And then that will do 4 points of force damage. But she's not done yet. Mm-hmm. So she has the wand out, and you see her sort of flourish her wrist, and the wand transforms into a sword that she holds in her hand, and a shield sort of materializes from that as well. And she is going to move forward right up against this big boy wolf, and I'm going to make an attack with my sword.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So let's see if anything good comes of that. 17 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
And that is 8 points of piercing damage against
nice.
Big Bad Wolf.
The Big Bad Wolf is right. 8 points, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Is he huffing? Is he puffing yet? Are you gonna blow the house down?
Definitely a little bit.
Eventually.
Yeah, you come forward and that sword slices up through the one side of its face, and it kind of roars back as it gets a big sever in its cheek, and it steps away from John Henry, looks around and sees you, its eyes narrow, and when it looks at you, Mayor, it says, "The mistress has sent us to destroy you."
What now?
What now?
Okay.
What now?
And as the top of the round, it is going to try to attack you, Mayor, because it is at the. Oh no, I'm sorry.
I think I go before the.
You do. I apologize. The very first time it went before you because it had held its action. So excuse me. It is Goldie's turn indeed. Yep.
I think I will take out purple though, just so we don't have to worry about
Sure.
him. So I'm gonna same old thing, sneak attack, try to hit him with my hand crossbow.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, that's gonna be does a 17 hit?
It does. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
cool.
And it also only had 2. It's kind of got John Henry style going on here.
Cool. Yeah.
And so what do you roll for the damage?
I mean, a lot more than 2.
Yeah.
I got that's probably 15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So your crossbow bolt, as it tries to, try to take out John Henry, it's moving around. It had missed before, and as it staggers, your hand crossbow comes up, and you fire right between the eyes, and this thing just crumples down next to your companion, John Henry.
Cool. And then I'm gonna use my movement. Just to kind of get line of sight on the big wolf. So I'm just going to move over here and still in the bushes.
Beautiful. All
and
right.
That's my turn.
I love it. I love it. John Henry, frozen and injured. If you could please make a death saving throw. First session of this 3-part adventure. We got party members making death saving throws. Not what I was expecting, but if you could please.
First roll. Sorry, I'm trying to read my dice. That is a 15.
Okay, that is 1 success. So you are on the path to getting better. So that's good. Unfortunately, that is your turn. So Piper, you see that your ally is hurt. You can see that Mare has quickly taken a battle position and is charged in to aid. What do you do in the back?
I am going to use my movement to move up to John Henry. And as an action, I am going to cast Cure Wounds on John Henry.
Oh, fantastic. I love that.
Let's see. Cure Wounds. All right. That is going to be 17 points
Amazing.
of healing.
Beautiful.
And
John Henry!
I was debating whether or not I wanted to be that bard to take Cure Wounds.
Hey,
So-
I think it worked out good. Yeah, John Henry, you feel reinvigorated. You have your senses spring back to life as the healing energy of something beyond reaches out and caresses you and brings you back into the world of the living with your companions here. You still have ice half encrusted all over your body, but you can tell that your time to lay down your hammer has not come yet. Nicely done, Piper. I love it. So that big wolf, it's going to attack you, Mare, because you're all up in its grill.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It's going to roll an 11, which I'm sure is going to miss you.
Nope.
And so, yeah, it bites out at you. It is not successful. You bring up the shield and deflect it. You feel its teeth slam across the shield as you deflect it out of the way. Bring your sword up for more combat action. The wolf that's down to the bottom attacks that guardsman. Oh, yeah. And as it hits the guardsman is actually able to maintain his ground. So as the wolf starts struggling and fighting in with the guardsman, he brings up his pike in between it. The wolf snaps down, and the two of them begin a struggle as they battle back and forth with that. That is going to be the wolves' turn. So Mare, with the big wolf trying to attack you, You've blocked, and you are ready for your turn. What do you do?
I'm so ready. So she will take a moment to concentrate on the spiritual weapon that is behind the wolf and will try to make an attack with that.
Mhm.
And that is a 7. So I'm thinking that misses.
Oh no, yeah, that's not gonna work out, unfortunately.
But she is going to once again take another swipe with her sword. So I have another advantage from Bleak Season. All the players got that a little bit earlier. I'm going to use that because
Bleak Season, pull a little fast one on me. Okay,
coming in clutch. Let's see if it helps.
Roll that
okay,
up.
a 19. That'll definitely help.
The 19 will do it. Yep.
Okay, and so that will be 4 points of piercing damage. Just a gentle poke to the puppy.
Damage is damage.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Absolutely. Very cool. Is that for your turn or anything else you want to do?
I'm going to stay where I am, and yeah, that'll be it.
Okay, cool. Top of the round, Goldie. It's all on you.
Yes.
Is it me already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Flying.
Time is flying. You know what? I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to run forward with my rapier for the big old wolf. And because I'm a halfling, I can go through spaces. So I'm going to go through John Henry's space, stab it, and then bonus action disengage to hide behind it.
Yes.
It's going to look like this.
That is amazing.
And then like that.
Spring.
So.
Absolutely.
And I have advantage because my compatriots are within 5 feet.
You do.
So that's going to be, I don't know if that'll hit. That's a 13 to hit.
Against the big bad wolf?
Yeah.
That will hit it exactly.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So 3d6.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Didn't roll great, though. So that's only a 9 damage.
9's good.
Could have been more because 2 of those were 1s on my dice.
Oh, so that was your sneak attack damage. What'd you get for the rapier damage?
Oh, no, I just rolled it all together. Sorry.
Oh, I see.
So altogether it was 9.
Okay, not a problem then. I gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, you spring forward, you bob and weave in beneath John Henry's feet, you stab up into the wolf and dodge and spring back before it even realizes that a little tiny bee stung at it. And you are back in behind your companion. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful teamwork, guys. I love it. But John, you are back. What would you like to do?
So, because this will be my first time playing a paladin, I'm going to figure out how this works. But I'm going to hit him with the warhammer, the big bad wolf with the warhammer. Hopefully this hits him. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to hit us. That's a 15.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to also use Divine Smite.
Oh, yes. Love it.
So that's going to add an extra 2d8 radiant damage.
Yes, indeed.
And because I do not know how Channel Divinity works.
Channeling Divinity is basically going to be an action. So because you're attacking, you can't really do it right this moment. Cool. But that's normally how it works.
Yeah. Cool. Needed to know how that functioned. So
Sure,
my D10 first. So 10 first. That's 11. Where's my D8? 17. That's a total of 24 points of damage.
Yes. Alrighty. So, John Henry, back from the brink of death, you turn and with your hammer, you surge in. As you bring it up, two-handed up over your head, you jump up off the ground and bring your weight down into the swing of the sledgehammer. Light explodes off the top of the head of it as as it fractures into the wolf, smacks into him, drives it down into the ground. The wolf crushes and pops under the weight of you coming down with a primal yell. The energy ripples out and the wolf is slain where it stands. It's no longer in the fight. The light in its eyes flickers, it begins to fade, and then there's a moment where it flickers again and it pulls out of its face, floats for a second, and then darts off in the direction outside of the gates as if it is going someplace. I'm not sure what that is all about, but
And just as a bit of flavor, I'm going to lift the hammer off, like out of the wolf's head, and then just slowly point it to the other wolf.
Yes. I love it. I love it. You know what? I'm going to have the wolf make a morale check because you are doing that. Because you just messed up.
Intimidate the wolf.
Yeah. This other wolf, because the main leader of this pack has been slain, the magical energies within it have been released. This wolf looks a little less intimidating. And in fact, when you point the hammer, you see it slowly start to back up. And the guardsman that is wrestling with it starts to press the advantage and push back against the wolf, trying to force it off of him. Piper, this is your moment. What do you do?
That is a good question.
I really turned the tide with that heel.
It did, and I didn't expect John Henry to take it out so systematically like that. That was great, because I had my next move all planned out, and it's just like, well, okay.
When all you have is a hammer.
That's it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. With this, as a bonus action, I am going to give Mare 1d6 inspiration for her to use at her will.
Bardic inspiration. Beautiful.
And I think with that, what I'm going to do is use Phantasmal Force to infiltrate the wolf's mind, and it'll have to make a 13 intelligence check. And I'm going to make it have the sensation that it's circled within a ring of fire.
Oh, okay.
Wall of fire.
The intelligence check is a 10 minus 4, so a 6. So it fails.
Okay. It is going to take 1d6 psychic damage. I want to say psychiatric.
Well, maybe that too. I don't know.
So that's four points of psychic damage.
Okay. Yeah.
And whatever its behavior is after that. So I'm not sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think because it's already freaked out by John Henry, as it believes a ring of fire is around it and trying to lick up at its fur. It actually just loses all interest in fighting this guardsman. It is trying to cower and get away from the flames. It sees them all around it. So you see it just pacing back and forth in place, looking around frantically, trying to figure out a way to get out of this scenario. That's all it's going to do. It's going to lose its action because of that. So, Mare, what would you like to do?
Well, now I want to give it scritches.
Mare wants a pet.
A sad,
take it out.
Sad wolf. I mean, scared animals are dangerous animals, so I
Right.
will continue to attack it. I'm going to use my bonus action to move my spiritual weapon over to this guy, and I'm gonna start there. So that'll be a 12 to hit it.
A 12 will not hit it, unfortunately. So the spiritual weapon comes in, it swipes at it, even though it's kind of looking frantic around, it still is not able to make purchase.
No problem. Gonna go in with the short sword. That's a dirty 20.
Oh yeah, that will hit.
And again, 4 solid points of damage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a little stabby action. And then I'm going to actually, oh yeah, well I would have moved up to it, but I'm going to sort of move around to the side where the other guard is.
Sure.
That'll be it.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very good. Yeah, I dropped a die on the floor. That's all part of the fun with live play. All righty, so Goldie, what are you doing now? Top O the round.
I think I'll probably step forward, take my hand crossbow back out, and try to snipe it.
Okay.
And Mare's next to it, so I get advantage again. That's going to be a 15 to hit.
15 will hit it.
And did you want me to roll my sneak attack damage separate this time? Sorry, I didn't do that before.
No, that's fine. I just thought that's all
Okay.
you were rolling because how you were phrasing it. But no, you were totally fine to roll however you
Gotcha.
want. Yep.
Yeah, so then it's 3d6 with the sneak attack, so total. That's just going to be 7, 10 damage, 10 piercing damage.
Not a problem. So Goldie, as you move forward, you take a shot at it, it hits it, and you see it stagger. And with all the commotion going on, it drops down. It tries to right itself. It's looking very afraid at this point, looking around, trying to figure out what's going on. John, this is your moment. You have that hammer pointed at this thing. You lower it, you bring it up into hand. What do you do?
I know how I want to flavor this. So as the hammer lifts back up, the planar dust that's on it begins to glow brighter and fires from the hammer towards the wolf as I cast Guiding Bolt.
Oh, snap.
So that's does a 15 hit?
It does. Yep.
Sweet. That's 46 of damage.
Yeah.
That is 14 points of damage.
Ooh.
And the next attack roll made against it has advantage as this planar dust surrounding it kind of coalesces. It begins to glow brighter and brighter.
I love it. As it begins to coat over the wolf, yeah, it does start to glow. Piper, you see that this is the moment. You could tell you've got perfect opportunity to do an attack if you want to take it.
Let's see. I am everything I have is pretty much about a buff, but there is one range spell I can use. It's gonna have to make a wisdom saving throw. 13 is the DC.
Ooh, yeah, not gonna do it.
And I will cast Dissonant Whispers. So as Piper plays his flute, this discordant melody just permeates through the wolf's psyche. And it is going to take 14 points of psychic damage.
Alrighty. And the discordant sound of your flute playing, it just crushes the spirit and the mind of this wolf. It just dies out of pure panic and fright, and it drops to the ground. And at this moment, when the last of these beasts are slain, there is a strange silence that falls across all of you as you all look to one another, knowing that you have now been tested in combat together. There's a certain bond that brings a group of people together in that regard. And with that, you all know that the threat is currently over.
Damn. Now I feel bad.
Why?
With that last wolf. I mean, it sounded so sad. I feel bad now.
Oh, no. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I nearly died in these things. I feel nothing.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what?
That's why I was kind of merciless. That's what I did to John.
So,
wow.
There's a silence that falls over. Yeah. What do you all do? What do you all say?
Go ahead.
Piper is going to take the opportunity to examine the wolves real quick, because you said there were runes or something about them. Are those runes still present?
Yeah.
About them?
Yeah. As you move closer to them, what you're going to see is there is the larger wolf, and then there's the two, I'm going to say smaller, but they're smaller in comparison to the one. The one that was the largest one is laying there still. It has runes that looks to be almost painted onto its fur, on its forehead, around its muzzle, certain sections of its flank. The other two seem to be, compared to that one, rather regular looking, other than the fact that they have strange skin tufts and growths around their ears and their eyebrows and things of this nature. Now that you're up close, you're really examining them. You all have heard tale of dire wolves before. That's definitely what the smaller two are. This larger one, though, is something a little bit different. You're not entirely sure what was up with that. Mare, I would say because of the way the battle went down, you were really the only one who noticed that it spoke to you.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's weird.
Yeah, very weird. I will first of all, is that guard super injured? The one that's remaining.
Yeah, he's kind of standing there panting, holding
Yeah.
a wound on his leg. Ugh.
I'll give him a gentle cure wounds for 5 points of
Okay.
healing.
Nice.
But I'll go back over to the rest of the group. First, looking at John Henry, are you okay? Do you need some healing?
I should be fine, but thanks for the offer.
Okay, all right. Did anybody else hear the wolf speak?
These things talk.
Apparently so. It spoke to me, and DM, remind me what it said about.
It said that the mistress sent them to slay you.
Man. Okay, yeah. So we are a target, clearly, and the mistress sent them. Does that sound familiar to any of you?
No, but I definitely don't like it because it sounds bad.
Piper, there was a line in the poem that speaks to you when she mentions a mistress.
Yes. I will bring that fact up to Mayor and the group that within the text of the I don't know what you would call it. Is it a parable or a phrase or something like that? The writings itself.
Yeah, the poem, the rhyme, I guess you could say.
That yes, a mistress was mentioned. And does this sound like anything like the covens that Piper has run into in the past?
It definitely does. In fact, taken in the context of these strange wolves, the fact that one of them spoke, these runes, the fact that there's a mistress mentioned, what specifically the poem, the rhyme said, it definitely speaks to you of covens, of hags, of strange, dark rituals that you would rather not think about from your past.
Okay. Does any of the runes kind of look like an 8 turned on its side or anything like that? The number 8.
Yeah, I'll say that there is one incorporated into the main wolf's forehead adornments that does look like that.
Okay. And I will pull Mare to the side and I tell her that one rune in particular might be something that she recognizes as well. This belongs to the Hourglass Covenant. And they pretty much want to take over all realms, both Fey and material.
Would that be something that's familiar to me?
I think it definitely, the godmothers know of this coven through strange, dark rumors. You hope that it's not true, because if they are in fact trying to do what Piper is claiming, they basically would be a subfaction of a former coven that was typically elven in nature, but has, according to the rumors, taken on more monstrous members, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So that's the knowledge Piper gleans from his examination of the wolves. And Piper breaks out the flute and plays a soft melody of a song of rest.
Ooh.
Okay.
So they will get 1 hit die back during a short rest. So
Okay.
So whatever your hit die is, roll it. And how does it roll when you get a?
It's when
hit die?
during a rest, when you spend your hit die, you basically are going to get more benefit out of using it. Basically.
Yeah.
So you get it back. As this is all finishing up, as you're having this revelation, Piper and Mare, some city guard approach with Albrecht. He takes a look around to see what's going on with everything. Well, we are certainly glad that you hadn't left yet. That was some vicious creatures there. It would seem that the Queen was, again, right with her judgment, as she always is, that you are the right people for this job. I dare say that had you not been here, there might have been graver danger still.
Yeah, Albert, isn't this your job, kind of, to be defending the city? Like, we're kind of doing your job for you right now. So, like, a little thank you, might be nice. And she kind of looks at him expectantly with, like, this, like, shit-eating grin.
You see his jaw clench, and he just looks at you like he's really annoyed, but he doesn't say anything negative. He just looks at the rest of you. I trust this won't change your methods of what you wish to do next. You are still planning to go and take out the journey, correct?
Yes, if anything, this confirmed that we absolutely need to do this.
John's going to not outright respond immediately, but head over to the guard that was still remaining from the wolf attack.
Mm-hmm.
You got a name there, friend?
My name is Gregor. I
Captain
thank all
Albrecht.
of you for coming along when you did.
Captain Albrecht kind of pats Gregor on the back.
Oh.
Gregor here fought valiantly. I think out of any of the other guards here, he deserves a drink, a rest, and maybe a little bit more in pay.
I'd say a promotion definitely is in order for our friend.
Gregor does like, yeah, then realizes that Albrecht's looking serious, and he just kind of looks sheepish for a moment.
Hey, we're all about like lifting up each other and like promoting each other's careers here. Okay, so we've got his back. We'll check his resume, whatever's needed.
Had I known him that he was going to do that, I would have gave John Henry some guidance to where you have a D4 for persuasion.
There you go.
With the Song of Rest, it is my bardic inspiration die is a D6, so you get another D6 or whatever for your hit points.
Gotcha. All right, so all of you, Albrecht gives you the money and everything that you'll need for your journey to get you to Nordgrot, which is going to equal out. There are 4 of you. It's going to equal out to, I love that. It's going to equal out to 200 gold, which basically lets you pay for your ticket as well as some extra money in case there's anything else you need to do. Yeah, of course, you are sent with the thanks of the crown and with of the queen herself. You all take one last look towards the city and towards the main castle before you board onto the train. Now, the train itself, it is basically a large, multi-carded contraption. The carts basically look like carriages that have different runes and etchings and symbols along the sections of the ground, like down where the wheels are, the axles and things like this, that they are, in fact, you see as they begin to charge up, they are powered with some sort of energy from the front engine that goes through them all. As you all kind of get on here, you begin your journey towards Nordgrot, and it is going to basically be, as we mentioned, a 2.5-day journey. During that time, you'll find it to be comfortable, semi-relaxing. I mean, as relaxing as it can be after having fought creatures, and also you were on a mission to save the princess. Is there anything specifically in that time? Again, a short little montage as you travel. Anything any of you would like to do in that time besides rest and recuperate and think about the future?
I actually want to take a moment. I'm assuming that this isn't really like a compartmentalized train. There's like the seating areas. I don't know if there's like sleeping quarters or things like that. I'm wondering.
You'll find that the seats in here actually recline far enough and actually pop out at almost like a kind of a bed type of thing, but not an actual sleeping cart, I wouldn't say, no.
I'm going to, wherever Goldie is seated, John's going to find and just seat next to, and then just...
Come on in, you're good. I don't
Figured
take
I'd-
much room.
Figured I'd ask you a question, or
Yeah.
at least get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
This is how we're two of the few seemingly mundane individuals on this journey.
Mundane? Are you kidding? With that hammer, and you were like, wham! And then that wolf skull was like, pow! Like, you have magic, bro. Like,
I have strength of arms, and the ability to do things that a working man should be capable of doing. Magic ain't got nothing to do with what I do.
you're too humble. You're too humble, man. Like, I saw what you did out there. That was crazy. I can't do that.
Well, speaking of things that we did and do, I was curious.
Yes.
You and I both know you got yourself a bit of a reputation.
I mean, depends what you mean by reputation.
He smiles, but you can tell it's like I'm playing as an idiot. I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
You fully in on this journey just because it's offering you money?
You know, you see Goldie kind of looks out the window for a little bit, and she's like, something about this really puzzles me and bothers me. And when I can't solve something right away, it like eats at like the back of my head. You know, it's like a really annoying, obnoxious voice, kind of sounds like my mom. And it's just like, you know, you're such a disappointment, and why aren't you solving this case immediately? And I don't know. It bothers me. It's not just the money. I mean, the money's great because obviously, you know, my business has not taken off super great. And I do have some drunken disorderly under my belt. But never stealing. So I don't know what the guard was talking about with stealing, because I've never stolen anything. But I'm curious if that makes sense.
You didn't strike me as the kind that believed in prophecy.
Not prophecy. And again, we haven't really understood what they meant by the four of us matching that prophecy. I don't fully understand that yet. But something about it strikes me as quite odd, and I'd really like to know what's happening there.
Just glad to see I'm not the only one that's not fully bought into the whole scenario yet. I'll do what I'm told is who I am, but
What's your biggest reservation about this whole thing?
I've seen a couple people that let the whims of tide and fate determine where and what they should be doing, as opposed to what they truly should be thinking and doing. And I'm not a fan of being guided along by something that I can't control with my own two hands.
That makes sense to me. And I wonder if it's less fate and it's more that our adversaries are leaving us a riddle and a clue in that prophecy rather than actually being, you know, puppeteers of our lives.
To be fair, a lash on the back stings more than a string. But suffice to say, being led around ain't exactly my favorite thing. Still,
I agree.
Still, this gets us at least some measure of answers, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And we can advocate for the people that, you know, deserve to be heard. You know, maybe we don't just follow the Queen's orders because the Queen said so. Maybe we do it for the greater good.
Who
Or
determines
whatever
that?
that means.
Who determines greater good?
Not me. It shouldn't be me. It should probably be you, to be honest.
I'm just a working stiff man.
Yeah.
Well, you got heart.
Well, I'm gonna go see how this train still is functioning.
Yeah,
Gives
by.
Goldie a pat on the back.
Come by anytime. I'll teach you how to play cards or dice or whatever you want to learn. I'll be here.
I'll wander along the train.
Beautiful. during your time on the train, as you travel, as these days quickly come to a close, you all do your various preparations, thoughts, researching, whatever. During this time, Piper, the rhyme that you and you alone carry with you, it weighs on you. You muse over it, you try to think exactly what it is that it means, what the purpose here is. Mayor, I would think that it probably bothers you as well, because you know a little bit about, you both seem to have information that are different sides of a coin, I guess you could say. He seems to have some sort of knowledge about what's going on from this side of the hedge. You seem to have some ideas from the other side of the hedge. Do you think that the two of you would perhaps have some sort of confrontation about this, or maybe a sort of discussion about what's going on? Or who do you think would instigate that if you do?
I definitely think that Mare, after that battle, wants to sort of have a one-on-one with Piper, presumably on the train, and she would just sort of come up to you, sit near you, and just say, okay, I'm sure that you know by now that I have heard of you, but I would very much like to hear your account of the, I guess, turn of events in Hamlin. On our side of the hedge, things get told a certain way, and I don't know, just based on seeing how you fought and protected, and I'd like to hear from you.
DM, any questions, or is there like a beverage cart or anything like that going around? Attendance?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll raise my hand to pause one moment for Mayor. I'm not shushing her or anything like that. I'm just like, one moment, and I'll reach up, and if there's a beverage cart going by, do a sleight of hand and pull 2 glasses and a bottle of whatever I could get off of it, or whatever, if I roll a sleight of hand check or something.
Sure. Yeah, let's see it. I love this.
Yeah, not too well. I rolled a 5 for a sleight of hand, but it was enough to go ahead and put enough silver on the plate or whatever when I take it, so I did pay for it. So
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So I'm holding like I guess both, like, glass or crystal goblets or whatever, and it's just like, would you care for one?
Please.
And I look at it. What am I looking at as far as the label, Kev? Red, white, rosé?
Whoa, is there something specific you would have gone for? Like, what does the Piper typically try to drink if he's given a wine choice?
Probably a red,
Okay.
kind of like a Rubicon or something like that. So yeah. So
Very
I'll
good.
pour
Yeah,
a
that's
glass
what you
for
meant.
myself, and
When you pop the cork, I want Goldie to pop out of nowhere and say, "Are y'all drinking in here?"
I'll wave down the attendant. It's just like, I think we're going to need a couple, at least 2 more glasses.
Oh, just get me a whole bottle to myself. That'll be fine. Thank you. Bill it to the queen, actually. Bill it back to the queen. Thanks.
The attendant just kind of gives you a nod. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, of course.
John Henry, get in here. We're drinking.
No.
Oh. And yeah, I just thought we should settle in before we clear the air between us. But yeah, Hamlin, seems like a lifetime ago. Well, it seems that in the town of Hamlin, that year, as the Witchlight Carnival had pulled into town, the town itself was besieged with a problem of their own making. It seems that the mayor had made a deal with a coven, for not only the prosperity of the village itself, but also for his personal gain. And the coven that he made the deal with is the Hourglass Coven. The hags of the coven, I mean, I have sorted history with, said, this, what you see here, is not natural. But the crux of the matter is that in return for the boons that the coven had granted the mayor and the villagers themselves, the currency for this was one child for each boon given. And
Oh my.
the coven made the promise of 8 children plus 3. So basically, those are the mystic numbers of the coven itself. So they had a lottery for all the families that were on board. And because the mayor was very persuasive and was granting these boons to these family members of the village that were putting their children up as this currency to receive these riches. Yeah, I just could not let that stand. But that knowledge hadn't occurred to me until I had came to town, and it seemed that the mayor himself had suddenly stopped payment to the coven itself. And over the past couple of months prior to the carnival reaching the city, they had been plagued with rats, up into the point to where it was that of a supernatural phenomenon. So the town itself sought some means to rid these animals from the town. At first, I had no knowledge of the deal that the mayor had made, but I could sense that there was something foul with these rats that were infesting the village. So I made my presence known to the mayor, since the carnival was in town, and volunteered to help them with this problem. And of course I did. And you're familiar with the story.
Only part of it. And what I'm familiar with puts you at odds with everything that I stand for. So I'm glad to hear that this isn't exactly what we've been told.
No, unfortunately, that tale's been embellished by a couple of ambitious bards, as you can say, brothers that wrote this tale, and we all know. So I was able to, of course, rid the town of the rats, but within that, I had also gained the knowledge and was just witness to the squalor, the suffering that these children were enduring. I mean, the complacency within the villagers and their families themselves was so much so that the children were working the fields. They were barely getting fed, and yet they were being fodder, for this dark bargain that the mayor had made. And I just could not let that stand. And the last straw with this, it wasn't so much the money, but just that the thought that they had been so capricious with making deals that they would even seek to break the bargain between the village and myself. So later that night, they had some kind of festival or something like that, that the family members of these families that were involved, there was some kind of feast. So I took that as my opportunity to kind of sneak into town with a couple of the other fae from the carnival themselves. And then that's when I began my enchantment. And you know the story. There were 130 children total, with the families that had put their children up for collateral. and I had taken them away from all that. I led the children back to the carnival. And as you know, with the Witchlight Carnival, there is a Fae crossing inside. And I led the children through the Fae crossing. And with that, we were greeted on the other side with some of our allies. And we were able to spirit away the children towards your matron, actually. And as of right now, the children are still under the care of the greatest godmother of all at the Palace of Delights within the realm. In the realm of, there's 3 realms, I believe. Hither is where the palace is. And yeah, the children are currently there. So
That's fucked up that your tale is so twisted, man.
it is. But I could not leave those children to suffer the same fate that had befell me as a child.
It's just a shame that more people don't know the great things that you did.
But to tell the truth, I kind of relish in the mystery. It kind of adds to the whole thing. But like I said, I was the subject of the same dark deal my parents had made. And as you can see, I am not human. This crown that I wear on my head, it is now part of me. It is what is called a witch's turn. And I was promised to the hags. And the only thing that saved me was actually a group of adventurers that actually had to try and save your matron who had gone missing for a while due to the Hourglass Coven.
This is fascinating. I'm new to, I guess, being a godmother, and fairly new to following the matron. I'm so glad that you were able to help those children. I mean, thank you from, someone who has devoted her entire existence to such things. I mean, cheers. And just reach out to clink the glass.
Cheers. Goldie's entire bottle's empty.
Of course.
She just chugged it during your story, like really stress drinking, like, oh my God, this is intense.
But as I tell I tell Mayor, it's just like, I mean, I don't mean this as to gain favor with you because of what I am. I can understand why you would kind of be tentative with, associating with me. But
I mean, it wasn't fair.
No.
I knew that I only had a little bit of information, and not to break any mystery, but you don't seem like a terribly nefarious character here. So,
well, it wasn't all completely altruistic. I left the village to their fate with the hags. I did not try to intervene with that. I just spirited away the children. There were 3 children that couldn't follow. One that was blind, one that was deaf, the other was a cripple who was lame. And they are the ones that alerted, the adults to what had happened. But I left no child behind. 3 days later, I came back and absconded with some help of the Witchlight hands with the last 3. I was not going to leave a child behind. Of course, those children themselves probably would not have made a good offering for the hags, but the children were innocent, and one of them in particular, the mayor's daughter, found out about this dark deal. And with the lottery itself that they had, she took all the tokens out of the lottery and placed her name on all the tokens and placed them back in and kind of forced the mayor's hand. That's why he sought me out to try to help. So, but when they broke the deal, all bets were off. So,
Well, it sounds like you did all of those children a favor, and I'm sure the matron is indebted to you. But
not as much as I am to her. So
I'm glad that the story panned out this way, because I think you're great, and it would be a real shame if I had to hate you, I guess. So
I could feel it.
Cheers to the
Sorry.
Piper. Cheers to the Piper.
There you
cheers. Mayor's gonna
Oh.
pour the rest of her wine into
and
your glass, Goldie.
I'll do
Mine's
a bow
empty.
to them and thank them. And it's just like, you flatter me, but we have a long journey ahead of us, and it's just, this is going to be something arduous. We are on a timetable. I don't know exactly how much time the princess has, but here's to hope for our success with this mission. So we were destined to be together, so let's see this through. And
Indeed.
I tip my last glass and put that away.
And as the train rolls on through the night into the next day, into the day after, they move their way closer to Nordgrad and towards the quest that they have to save a princess, a sleeping beauty in need. These four companions are together to begin their journey, knowing that the perhaps tough times may still be ahead. We have a child murderer who is actually a savior, a godmother who is actually a warrior, a criminal who actually has a heart of gold, and a working man who is a hero. Who knows what sort of tales they may tell next time and next week as we continue Once Upon a Rhyme here on Superior Adventurers Guild. I want to thank you all for playing today. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to thank everybody at Superior Adventurers Guild for letting us do this little fun, cool excursion we're going to do. We do have another adventure next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and also the following week on the 12th, where we will wrap this puppy up. But in the meantime, don't forget to love one another, to be cool and be safe out there. I want to say thanks again to Superior Adventurers Guild. Thank you to these four players. Thank you to Neutral Party for our cool map that we had to use today. Thanks to Miko for the awesome art. I love it so much. It's so juicy. And again, thank you to all of you. This has been really great. So thank you very much. And with that, let's the outros. Oh yeah, let's do the outros, shall we? Real quick, before we hand it back over to Miko, let's have each of my four players say who they are again, so you know where to find them on the socials. So let's do the same order that we did before. So Beth, start us off. Who are you?
Well, I'm Beth. You nailed it there. I can be found on various social media platforms. Check out my link tree for links to all of that. It's just linktree/Beth Masco. I'm so excited to have, started this journey. This is this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm so happy to meet all of these characters and see what their deals are. But yes, this is fantastic, and I'm excited for next week.
Beautiful, beautiful. Glad to have you here. Rachel, remind us who you are on this fine night.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I was playing Goldie, the Inquisitive Rogue. I am relatively new to the whole streaming thing, but I have been on Monday Night Mayhem once before. You can follow me at Carollo_Rachel on Twitter and a few other social media. I'm not super active, but feel free if you want to see some cute cat photos or whatever. And thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Javante. Hello again, sir.
Hey, everyone. Sorry for randomly vanishing.
That's all right. Cats have a way of being mystical and fairy-like in their own way, so we understand.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that tends to happen. In any event, you can catch me on all my social medias at my Twitter at Javante, JHEV as in Victor, AUNTE. I am posting a lot of stuff that involves wrestling right now because I'm working on a thing, so you can keep an eye on that. Outside of that, you can keep finding me here on Mondays, probably elsewhere because I keep getting pulled into things and because I can't say no to stuff. So just stay tuned in.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love to have you here. And David, hello again. Tell us who you are, good friend.
Hi, I am David, also known as the Nefarious Piper. You can find me in the Twitterverse at DNDevious. I am also a cast member on Murder Hobo Inc., as well as Game Night Heroes with our game master, Kevin. And if you want to stay up on what's going on as far as, tabletop RPG, go ahead and check out my Twitter page and stuff like that. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on, especially with here at Monday Night Mayhem. So this is a great adventure. I am so happy to be playing with you guys, and I cannot wait to see how all this pans out. So.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The prologue is over. The true adventure will begin. Yes, I am Kevin. I was your game master tonight. Thank you all for watching. I can be found on the socials at KevranGames. And also, I am the host and the game master of the Game Night Heroes podcast, an actual play podcast that is narrative and audio-based that comes out every week. And we do multiple different games, mini campaigns, that sort of thing. I also am on Murder Hobo Incorporated, as David mentioned already. I play in 2 of the games there. Both are cool, fun, post-apocalyptic campaigns. One I'm a paladin, one I'm a geriatric ladies' man dragonborn, which is super fun. And we do lots of fun stuff there. In the meantime, prepare yourselves for next week because there is going to be, like I said, more magical excursions as we get closer to our destination. So again, thanks everybody for listening. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and let's send it back over to our man, Nico, who can roll this out. So thank you so much, everybody. Truly appreciate it. Looking forward to next time.